Tonight on the Black Channel, a special discussion about Tethers, FBAs, and Black unity. The Black Channel is live. Unapologetic, unadulterated, and absolutely uncompromising. Greetings, brothers and sisters from around the world, and welcome back to the home, the haven, the stronghold, the everlasting superfortress of intelligent black thought. We are the Black Media, and this is the Black Channel, and I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the voice of Black America, the foundational Black authority, coming to you live from the only historically Black college and university of higher education and learning in the entire cosmos. You are, of course, welcome to join us. And join us you shall, because on tonight's program here, a lot of events have happened this week. The tragedy down there in New Orleans, which is a whole thing's been unfolding, and I'm actually going to probably be dealing with that in a different way. I'm probably going to be dealing with that in a little bit of a different way there. But in the wake of those events and recent events also, there was something else that I wanted to discuss here as well, though. I wanted to discuss about this particular issue here tonight. And I've been meaning to do this now, at least for the last few weeks, to go ahead and speak on that. If you didn't join us on the first of the month, when we did our, as usual, New Year's broadcast, if you didn't join us on the first of the month there, we want to take an opportunity to address that and to take a look at a few things. So if you didn't listen in that night, I talked about why it is as you hear those kinds of words and those terms and why we use that and why we make these distinctions and why distinguishing ourselves and delineation is a critical thing for us here. There's a lot of people who talk about unity, although they, in a lot of ways, sit up here and say it in pejorative ways. Folks use these things and they use these terms, but they're not using them in good faith. When you only use terms when you can capitalize on it, then you don't actually believe in it. Having a principle means that you stand by it, whether it is to your convenience or whether it is not. That's the difference. You don't get to be like children and invoke a term when you think you're being a slick con artist in order to take advantage of other people. Well, they're dealing with me in good faith, so let me see if I can take advantage of that. That's the critical key difference. Up until this point, the whole thing has been that we utilize terms in a global sense. We are the only people who have utilized these terms in a global sense. We're the only ones. No one else has been utilizing it in a global sense, or at least not consistently in a global sense. You cannot sit up here and say that you're black when convenient, but when you see an opportunity to get individual benefits, all of a sudden you are something else. Therein lies the problem. If you identify as Jamaican American, other than to just say, well, your family came from Jamaica, yeah, but you make it a point to say, well, I'm different. Well, then therein lies the issue. If you feel the need to distinguish yourself, then everyone should distinguish themselves, should they not? The problem comes when we start doing that, then folks realize, oh, there's no benefits to be gained if they do not group themselves with everyone else. There's the issue. Well, Jason, why is that an issue? Why would that be a problem? Why can we not sit up here and do that kind of thing? Well, you can do whatever you'd like to in that regard, but just understand one thing, what it means, as I explained on the first. What it means is that you've hyphenated yourself, and if you're hyphenating your identity, that is the same as a man marrying a woman, and she, after marrying him, he finds out that she has hyphenated her last name. What? There's the problem. It is the same as when you're dealing with a woman, you're going to marry this woman and she hyphenates her last name. But in this instance, it's even worse in some regards. This is like this is like being Tina Knowles. She hyphenates her last name from her previous husband. Damn! If you want us to articulate exactly where the root of the problem comes from, that gives you a very simple way of being able to understand and comprehend that. If you are going to hyphenate your identity, then that is the same as being a wife who hyphenates her name after she's married a husband. Well, she's letting him know what her identity is. You see, we cannot have unity with people who have dual allegiances. There's the problem. You cannot have unity and dual allegiance. In case you need somebody to explain that to you and articulate that more simply, you cannot have unity coupled with dual allegiances. Any more than a man can be committed to his family and he's got dual or triple allegiances across town. That's the issue. Now, that works if you're trying to take advantage of someone. If you are exploiting someone, then you can operate that way. That's the way you can operate if you're attempting to exploit someone or take advantage of them or to cheat them or to con them, and you walk away with more than them. But if the principle is that it is you and me and us and we and all together, if the principle is unity, then, well, you can't operate that way. You cannot claim that you are a free agent when it's to your convenience and that you are a member of a group, of a global group, when it's to your convenience. No, you're either a member of the global group or you're by yourself. But you cannot be both. You cannot be both. Up until this point, it's come as a shock to the system to people because up until this point, because we have been the global leaders and the global trendsetters, and I don't just mean that we have been, we are the global leaders, we are the global trendsetters, and we have to be honest about the way that people from outside of our community here view us. Let me take a moment to do this, and this is a teaching moment tonight. This is important for everyone listening in here so that we can clarify this for you, because we did this recently with a program about Fat Joe. It's gotten a lot of views, and one about Vivek Ramaswamy has gotten a lot of views. I want to take a moment here to go ahead and clarify this part for you. You see, up until recently, we've had to make changes in that because what's happened is the view that everyone else has had of us is that because we have been so successful and we have gained so much ground and we've accomplished so much and we have redefined the global landscape, basically the attitude that we've been faced with is that we've done so well and have so much that everybody can just eat off of us at our expense and that we should be okay with it because, well, after all, you got so much. And the thing is, you do not simply, I don't care how much a man has on his plate and how little you have on yours. You do not simply walk up to another man's plate and start snatching food off of it because you hungry. You do not simply walk up to another man's plate. It doesn't, regardless of how much he got and how little you have, you do not simply walk up to another man's plate and start snatching food off of it because you're hungry. Well, I'm hungry. Okay, that doesn't entitle you to mine. Well, you got so much. Okay, well, maybe we should discuss why you don't. But that still does not entitle you to my plate. We messed up in the game over here. None of those things, what you're saying, even if all those things are to be taken as true, that still does not entitle you to what's on my plate. Nothing you just said there entitles you to that. So when you get so familiar, I know this is a shock to the system for a lot of people, but the point is when you get so familiar with somebody else that you believe that they should be accepting of abuse and exploitation because you feel so familiar with them. The fact you feel familiar with them does not change the fact that you are exploiting and abusing them. And this idea that we are to be the global guardians and everyone else is to benefit from it at our expense. Now, there's the critical key problem. They're to benefit at our expense. You see, we're working together in unity if everyone is sharing the burden and sharing the cost. But if we're the only ones bearing any burden and taking on any cost and everybody else is eating, now there's the problem. Now we're just being exploited. They've taken our kindness, not just for weakness, but for gullibility. Now, we have attempted to have this conversation. We have certainly attempted to initiate this conversation. If you all remember here at the Black Channel, going back to 2016, when Donald Trump was coming into office. If you all remember, when Donald Trump was coming into office back in 2016, long before you had groups of folks out there claiming they were descendants of slaves with rip-off names, I tried to avoid there at the beginning because I saw what the issues were. But you heard me saying it. You can go back to 2016. You can actually go all the way back to 2009. Always pointing out that, by the way, we couldn't help but notice it. Even then, we've been expressing that this was a problem. We've been expressing that this is a problem. We have been expressing that this disdain and hostility, we've been expressing that that is a problem. See, that's an issue right there, especially when the issue has not been resolved. Now, there will be some folks out there that are going to attempt to hold on to a futile, obsolete mentality. Now, this will come as a shock to your system for some of our domestic brothers and sisters who have not caught up to the new way under the sun yet. You are operating under obsolete beliefs and obsolete practices. When Marcus Mosiah Garvey first came to us, Marcus Mosiah Garvey did not bring us pan-africanism. Marcus Mosiah Garvey simply came to the people who were already practicing pan-africanism. He came to a people where pan-africanism had finally found fertile soil, because it didn't have anywhere he came from in Jamaica. He had to leave Jamaica because there was no fertile soil for pan-africanism. It was not there before he left Jamaica, and he was unable to establish it there when he was deported from the U.S. and returned to Jamaica. We do not keep reminding people of that as a means to shame anyone or offend anyone. We do it for the necessity of reminding people. You didn't bring anything to us, and you didn't teach us anything. We already had that. Marcus Mosiah Garvey did not come here and introduce pan-africanism to the foundation. He came to the foundation and he found pan-africanism already here. That's why he didn't go straight to Britain. He didn't go to South America. He didn't go to Canada. He came here. He didn't come here because Pan-Africanism was a new concept. He came here because this was the home of Pan-Africanism. He was looking for a place that was rich in Pan-Africanism, because if he was interested in spinning his wheels to try to establish and sow the seeds of Pan-Africanism, he could have just stayed in Jamaica and done that. He could have stayed there and done that. He did not have to come here. He came here because he had already done that. He came here because he had already done that. That's the problem. It is necessary for us to say this, even though we've been saying this for over a decade, because we have to remind people you cannot sit up here and rewrite the history in a manner in which is flattering to you and diminishing to us. This is why the global discussion about hip hop is important. Because people are going back and rewriting the history, and it's not just the white society anymore. Now it is the non-white society that is going back and trying to erase our place in it. That's the thing that we realized here. That's the thing that we realized. So what we did here is we started saying, okay, enough of rewriting the history. This is a shock to the system. Because up until this point, people have been doing that and we didn't say anything. There's the problem. There's the issue. So this is why we have become sensitive and hypersensitive to these practices that people have been using against us. And up until this point, we weren't pushing back on them as forcefully as we were before. We notice that people are seizing on these things and then going back and erasing us from our own history and then telling us that they're the ones who started it. So when you have the Caribbean telling us that they created pan-Africanism when we created pan-Africanism, and then the Caribbean comes back and tells us that they created the global music of hip hop when we created it, that's the part that we are making sure we clarify to everyone here, that this global movement to erase us and our own accomplishments and to hijack them, that is not unity. The matter becomes even more disrespectful and becomes even more contemptuous when you realize that these are the same folk who bow and scrape to the white supremacist society. They're the same folks who do that. They have no problem giving white people credit for things white folk never even did. They have very little issue giving up their entire coastlines, their industries. They hand them right over to other folk. And then I guess if you didn't give it all away, you would have more to keep and you wouldn't feel the need to try to snatch it from others. It is essential that that not occur, because that is not what we taught you. That is not what we taught you. When your definition of unity is exploitation, that is not unity. When your definition of unity is exploitation, you are not unified. But the issue and the situation is deadlier than that. The issue and the situation is deadlier than that because you see, when you've come to the global leaders of blackness and black identity, when you've come to the global leaders, we set an example for the world to follow. The problem is they're not following it. And because they're refusing to follow it, it is meeting with catastrophic results. And then after that, they're saying, okay, well, let us eat off your plate. And what we're saying is, no, you're going to have to start washing your dishes, growing your food, preparing your meals, and eating off of yours. We have absolutely no problem and no issue whatsoever helping a worthy person who is in need of assistance. But a person trying to undermine us is not in need of assistance. They are in need of removal, not assistance. That's the issue that we've been running into here. That's the issue that we have been seeing here. That is the issue that we've noticed. We have brought it to people's attention. We have brought it to their attention, and when we bring it to people's attention, you either have individuals operating on obsolete information or you have dishonest individuals attempting to continue their grift. But rather than addressing the actual illness and the actual sickness and stopping the behavior, they are instead attempting to intimidate people into going back to ignoring the obvious offenses and abuses we've been absorbing. Therein lies a problem. Let me say what I am going to say here next in no uncertain terms so that I can remind people of exactly where the problems originate from. As Malcolm X taught you all, our power comes from our points of commonality. When you are dealing with people who go out of their way, let me say this again, to the diaspora from the Caribbean, Africa, and beyond, when you go out of your way to emphasize your differences from us, then how in the world can you feign to be offended when we say we will require that to remain consistent? If you're all the way in, we require that to remain consistent. And if you are not going to be in all the time, then we require that to be consistent also. You must be out all the time. Now, this is going to create problems and issues for people because you have to understand we are living in a white supremacist system that has had a buffer class strategy, and that buffer class strategy's goal was to supplant us where we are. That those of us who are the descendants of the slaves and the original foundational people of this nation, it has been a goal to drown us out and to replace us with people who do not have any legitimate grievance or any legitimate claim. That everything that they have was given to them. But furthermore, they have a different cultural view than we do. The idea of removing the image of a white Jesus and replacing it with the image of a black Yahweh, that is our creation. But it is a creation based out of a deliberate, conscious, philosophical principle, articulated flawlessly by our immortal ancestor, Dr. John Henry Clarke, that every people, you cannot have a God that does not look like you, and you certainly cannot have one that looks exactly like your oppressor. So let me get this straight. In America, they brought a white Jesus, and we replaced that with a black one. In Africa, you had black deities, and you've replaced them with that white one. Do you see we're both going in two separate directions? Do you realize that you and we are heading in two separate directions? We have two separate cultural views on that. You cannot go to Africa is not a stronghold of black intelligent thought in that regard. They're not a stronghold of that. They're competing with the European cultures for assimilation. The idea of resisting that is a concept that they received from us. And we have been pleased to disseminate that. We've been pleased to disseminate that. But the issue here is that folks have been hostile to that. People have been hostile to it. They actually didn't like it. They actually didn't like that we were doing that. That was the thing that we started to see and started to understand. And then we just started comparing notes. We started asking whose man was this? We started asking notes about that. We started asking notes and we started comparing things, and that's when we started seeing a difference. You see, the posting of the notes, when we started comparing notes with each other, what we should have seen, what you would assume is that if we started comparing notes from New York to New Orleans, from North Carolina to Northern California, you would figure that if we started comparing notes, then we would all of our notes would start to line up and create a picture of global Black unity. We started comparing notes and realized that it was actually the opposite. At one time, we had told ourselves, well, this is an issue, certainly. This issue, however, is confined to New York. But outside of New York, that is not the issue. But then people like me started coming up and saying, actually, Texas, Florida, California, you see the same thing there. We started comparing notes, and when we did, we started stumbling across similarities. We started stumbling across similarities. And that's when folks started telling us, now here's where things got twisted for us domestically. Domestically, individuals who were still holding on to obsolete beliefs started telling us that, well, yes, I mean, it isn't. We got folks trying to exploit us within the diaspora. We got folks in the diaspora trying to exploit us, but we have an obligation to keep going at that until we get it straightened out. We have an obligation to do that. That's a whole lot of energy to use in that regard for folks who are supposed to already be on the team. Whole lot of energy to be expended for that. That's a whole lot of energy to be expended for that. So we started asking ourselves questions. Who is it that the Democrats are using to undermine us? Who is it that the media is using to undermine us? Who is it that academia is using to undermine us? We started asking a question that up until then we had not been asking before. Where are you from? Paperwork check. Where are you from? We want to find out if somebody from our experience, how can somebody from our experience who's seen what we've seen, experienced what we've experienced, whose family has seen what we've seen, whose family has experienced what we've experienced, how is it that someone from our experience can respond in such a despicable manner? And we started realizing, oh, there's the issue. There's the issue. So what we realized is that we have a problem with domestic coons, but we also have a problem with international coons. The difference is the domestic coons were already here. The international ones are coming over here. Well, at that point, you are now the aggressor. At that point, you are now the aggressor. We are sitting here fighting white supremacy, attempting to establish our tranquility. But if you're coming over here to where we are, telling us that you are entitled to be here and you are entitled to destabilize us, the people who made it possible for you to even be here. Now we have a bigger issue. Now we have a bigger problem. You see, whenever you go to the dominant society with a grievance, they know that there's only one group of people who actually have a legitimate grievance. Only one. Even for those of you who immigrated over here, it doesn't matter how bad racism is in America, not for you, because unlike you, we did not choose to come to that. It came to us. You chose to come here, which means that just like if I were to move from America to China, I am signing up for whatever the conditions in China are. After all, I've made a choice to go there, which means I wish to join all of it, baby and bath water both. If you have come to America, you have chosen to partake part and parcel of all of it. You made a conscious decision and effort that of all the places you could go to, that you could run to, that this is where you will go. Once you made that decision, you have surrendered any claims. The dominant society understands this. You have no claim to make. There was nothing that you found out here that you didn't already know. You accepted the social order that you came to. You had choices of other options, and you chose this one. Now, this returns us to the pan-africanism discussion. This returns us to that. Because you see, if you are a people dedicated to pan-africanism, then fleeing and running is treasonous. Damn! If you are in Jamaica and you believe in pan-africanism, then you're not coming to America to spread pan-africanism. You need to be standing 10 toes down in Jamaica and spread pan-africanism there. If you're in the Caribbean, you need to be spreading pan-africanism there. You don't need to come spread it to the home base of it that's already full and flush. You're not bringing anything new here. So if you're running from where you came from, you are not just abandoning your homeland, you are abandoning pan-africanism. Pan-africanism should be something getting spread out. You're not spreading it, you're contracting it. Although first you would have to actually be a devotee to it. So I guess you can't be accused of contracting it if it's not already in you. Cultural legacy is important. Cultural legacy is essential. The problem is that the Candace Owenses of the world and her ilk do not have a cultural legacy of resistance to white supremacy, which is why they love her. They promote her on YouTube. They promote her across the websites of the world here. They promote her across social media. Yes, because she's going to tell them that there is no issue with the dominant society. She's going to tell them that. She's going to tell them that there is no issue with the dominant society. The issue is with the rest of you. That's who it's with. It's with the rest of you. That there is no problem. And of course, the dominant society, just like they're rewriting the history books to erase slavery from it. By the way, you've never heard Candace Owens say a word of protest against that, about the erasure of slavery in American history books. You've never seen her go on a crusade against that. That's been going on now for 2 decades. Her and her ilk, the Coleman Cruises, all the racism don't exist folk, all the woke is wrong folk. By the way, take a look at woke DeSantis down there in Florida. If you're erasing slavery, the most significant event in American history, from America's history books, ain't that woke? Ain't that identity politics? And yet the folks who claim to be the most ardent opponents of identity politics are defending identity politics. defending rewriting history, defending censoring history. Well, it don't get more white supremacist woke than that, does it? It doesn't get more white woke than that. And yet she's deadly quiet about all of it, not a word. I bring this up tonight because it is essential that we have a clear understanding of why it is that we are doing what we are doing. This brings me, of course, to the next pivotal point here, which is that in order for you to have a cohesive movement, you must also have a concise and coherent movement. It cannot be cohesive and incoherent. We have some folks among our group here, some who fancy themselves the class clowns. To be clear, you cannot use terms like anchor baby and tether and other terms like that. That's not something that you just throw out willy-nilly. The class clowns are the ones that attempt to sit amongst us, and please understand, in many of your cases, it's become clear to me, I have always thought this, that these are agent provocateurs. These are folks sent out by the dominant society, by the political establishment, in some cases by the intelligence community. What an oxymoron. By the intelligence community for the purposes of sowing confusion. These will be the folks sitting in the comment section. As soon as somebody shows up and they have an accent or somebody calls them an accent, they a tether. You got to understand, COINTELPRO is still very much running. COINTELPRO is still very much active. And because it is still very much active, you will have people attempting to create confusion. We have defined and explained many a time what qualifies to be a tether, and yet you'll still see people jumping up and claiming that, using that word, knowing full well the person they're referring to does not qualify for that, and yet you'll see them doing that. These are agent provocateurs. These are party establishment agents. This is them doing that. They're doing that because we formed power and cohesion, and they don't have the ability to disrupt that. So the only thing they can really do is attempt to confuse the people. We're going to confuse some folks. We're going to cause confusion there. They're unable to defeat our arguments. Please understand, white supremacy has never been able to defeat our arguments. Never, never, ever since the beginning of our history here. They've never defeated our arguments. So now they just resort to tactics like, okay, well, I guess that we'll see if we can cause confusion. In the chat room, I'm going to go ahead and post up the link for the Zoom. I only want 2 people on Zoom. So Mr. Wingnut and Mr. Don Jeter, we're going to give both of you here 2 minutes to be on Zoom. We're going to have both of them here on Zoom in 2 minutes, or we'll go ahead and remove them permanently. So they've had plenty to say here. We're going to make sure they have an opportunity to go ahead and speak. Jason, let me talk. Okay. We are going to give them an opportunity to speak here. So Don Jeter there and Mr. Wingnut, you both have 2 minutes to be on Zoom. The link is pinned at the top of the chat, and you will have the opportunity here to speak. If they do not take advantage of that opportunity, they will be given the requirement to leave. So congratulations, fellas. Welcome to the big leagues. We have an obligation to make sure that we speak with a clear, coherent voice. So just as it is essential to make sure that people do not exploit us or abuse us, it is also essential that we point out the individuals who are knowingly attempting to cause confusion. People who are on code are the ones we're looking for. Folks who sit up here and deliberately attempt to create confusion. And by the way, did you all notice during tonight's program, You haven't seen anybody trying that just yet. Isn't that interesting? Haven't had them trying it just yet. Don't you understand that they are still very much at war with us? Don't you understand the government is still very much targeting us? Don't you understand the government is still very much doing what they've always been doing? They're watching us even right now. Do you all get that? They are watching us even right now as we're speaking, even right here during this program. They're watching us where we are. They're looking at what we're doing. They're examining what we're saying. They're looking to see, is there any way that they can change or alter what we're doing? They're doing that right now. Right now. They want to know, is there an opportunity or an ability to change things? Can we get away with that? Can we send in people amongst your group so we can cause confusion? You firmly established the terms, you firmly established the meanings, but can we get to work changing that and altering that? We'll see if we can co-opt it and alter it. Don't you recognize confusion is warfare? And they very much want to disrupt us, because if the leaders of Black movement globally can be disrupted, then by definition, you've already disrupted everybody else. Let me go ahead and get over here on Zoom. I've got Nisha here on Zoom. Not sure which one of those she is there, but we'll find out. All right, Nisha, you are here on Zoom. Now, are you Don Jeter or Wingnut?
No.
Okay, she's off to a bad start here. Where are you calling from, Nisha?
Canada.
Okay, where at in Canada?
Toronto.
Of course. And what is on your mind, Nisha?
Just listening in.
Is that all, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay, then why did you call up on Zoom, ma'am?
I think it's because there was a prompt in the chat.
Someone told you to call me?
No, that's what I saw in the chat.
Okay, it sounds like you're lonely, ma'am. Nobody asked you to call up, so it sounds like you're lonely.
No.
Are you sure about that? Because that's sure as hell what it seems like. I'm a little concerned there. She seems a little lonely about that.
No, I'm fine.
Are you sure about that, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. Because it sounds like you're having some problems. Is everything all right?
Yes, everything's fine.
Where are you, Nisha? I don't see you.
I'm here.
I don't see you, Nisha. Where are we going? There you are, ma'am. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Stop blinking out on me, ma'am. We want to see those pearly whites of yours. Is that a bonnet on your head, Nisha?
Yes.
So, have you been to Walmart today, Nisha?
Nope.
It seems like it, ma'am. Have you been on the treadmill today?
I was actually.
Okay, how far along on our weight loss journey are we?
We're doing pretty good. 45 pounds.
45 pounds. I figure you got another 50 to go?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good right there. Well, you know what they say is keep at it. Early bird gets the worm.
Yes.
Okay, Nisha.
Thank you.
If you're not asked to call in, let's not do that. Ordinarily, I don't put folk up there, but by the way, if you want to be famous, you want to be seen, I'll help you be seen. So, she wanted to be seen there, y'all. So, she wants to be seen. We got that taken care of. You have that taken care of there. Okay, we do not have Don Jeter or Wingnut here on Zoom, so both of them are going to go ahead and be banned. We're going to go ahead and ban them since they've had their couple of minutes here to give us a call. So they can go ahead and be removed for that. We have one more person here on Zoom. Maybe this is one of the lucky 2 contestants here. I have Christina here on Zoom. Christina, just to make sure we don't have any issues here, I just need to make sure you have your camera and your microphone on so we don't have any trolling problems. No one else is going to see you except for me, unlike Nisha, because Nisha was trolling. So as long as you're not trolling, you won't have that problem. However, you have 5 seconds to take care of that. If you don't, you'll have to be permanently removed. There you go, Christina. All right. How is life treating? She got a septum ring, y'all, but can't wait to see where this is going.
Yes, I do. Actually, I wanted to talk about something that you spoke about yesterday. I had company over, so I could not call in.
Oh boy. Well, I didn't have a program here yesterday, so you must be referring to my other YouTube channel.
Oh, you know what? You're right. You're right.
Although this sounds like this would be an epic conversation. So what I'd like for you to do, just email me. You can email me at do you have my email addresses?
I do.
Okay. Well, you can email me at theblackauthority@yahoo.com. I'll make an exception just this once. You can email me at theblackauthority@yahoo.com. Just email me there. And just let me know you're the one who gave me a call, since we know your name. Yeah. And we'll see about having you on the other program.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to be disruptive.
Quite all right. Yeah, like I say, this looks like that one's going to be a live one. It looks like it's going to be a live one. All right, we haven't had Derek we haven't had Don or Wingnut give us a call here. And once again, by the way, that's the good part of what we do here. That's the good part of what we do. You see, in the days of the old dead black media, you just had to take their word for it, what the situation was. If you want to know why it is that we lost so much ground for so long, take a look at all the bedwenching and ass kissing and butt sucking that was going on at Essence and Ebony and Jet and all the Black Enterprise and all these so-called black publications. They were collaborators working with the very folk that we were fighting against. No, and they were telling us everything was fine. As long as Tom Joyner got his sponsorships, they were telling us everything was okay, remember? Everything's just great. No one was saying the things that we were saying. People, Dr. Claude Anderson and Dr. John Henry Clark and and Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, all of them were alive and well and walking around and talking back in those days. None of those publications wanted to speak to those people. None of them, not a one. These people never changed what they said. Dr. Clark never changed it. Dr. Anderson never changed it. None of them ever changed what they said. Why is it that they were not on the covers of these magazines? Because I've got issues of every Hollywood star you can name. But folk who are actually really mattered, these people never brought them up. What I'm telling you is that the reason why we got into this mess that we are about so-called black unity is because the national conversation has been poisoned. The national conversation has been poisoned up to this point. Up to this point, we were depending on other people to lead those discussions and lead those conversations. And what we found out is what they're going to do is prop up a Skip Gates or a Dr. Michael Eric Dyson and tell you that that's going to be the person speaking on your behalf. And they'll say the word racism and the word white supremacy. Meanwhile, they're snuggling up to it.
And deal with it, nigga.
And that goes for both of you. Am I gonna go there tonight? I'm gonna go there tonight, brothers and sisters. I'm gonna go there. Would y'all? Are y'all gonna be okay? I got to take the gloves off right quick. No, I'm tired of the jacket. I gotta take the gloves off right quick because I gotta give it to you straight. Gotta give it to you raw. You ever notice that over the last 40 years, the people who have been most elevated to quote unquote speak on our behalf, the ones the national media has most put out there to speak about white supremacy, and meanwhile, when you take a look at who they're laying next to in bed, what? Ain't that right, Skip Gates? Let's talk about it. Ain't that right, Cornel West? Let's talk about it. Ain't that right, some of y'all? I think it's appropriate to have a conversation about that. By the way, y'all folk, they have no problem giving you unlimited amounts of television time. They have no problem giving Negroes who do that kind of talk all that television time. They have no problem giving that kind of television time to folks who have principles that are a little suspect there. But it's like the media has been giving them time now for 4 decades. If they want to speak, they're going to make sure they get the camera up in front of them, and this will be your representative on CNN, Clown News Network. Isn't it interesting that they do that? Now, you know what they don't do? They don't go find white men who are married to black consciousness females and shove a camera in their faces and tell you that this will be the voice among white people. Now, you notice that you can't name a single white man you can say that about? You can't go to a single CNN panel? Ain't that right, Van Jones? It's not an isolated incident. The anchors on CNN, hey, Allison, couldn't help but notice y'all have an eerie similarity. Only a small portion of the black population is interracially married, and yet practically all of the panelists on your cable news networks are interracially married. Now, how is that mathematically possible? How is that mathematically possible that the majority of black faces that you see on cable news are interracially married, even though only about 10% of the black society even engages in that? How is that mathematically possible, people? If they are taking just an honest sampling of the best and brightest in our society, then why is it that their ratios of interracially married people are not lining up with ours? Everybody they got is doing that. And I'm just looking to see how many white men that they have on these networks who are married to a pro-black conscious female, and that those are white people's representatives. Can you name even one? Even one? Just one. I thought it was interesting to acknowledge that. All right, I guess I can go ahead and put these little old gloves back on. These are questions to be asked. These are questions to be asked here, so I wanted to take this as an opportunity to go ahead and codify and clarify. I'd done this a couple of days ago, but I want to take it to be yet another opportunity to clarify here. If you are hyphenating your identity, then that is the same as a wife that hyphenates her name. I simply cannot believe that you do not have split loyalties and split allegiances. I simply cannot believe or accept that. I simply can't. I just can't. That's not possible. I don't believe that. Because mathematically it does not match up. If we are to make progress, it is going to require cohesion. And that brings me to another group here. Now, this is going to be the difficult pill to swallow, but it will be yours to swallow. To our on-code brothers and sisters throughout the diaspora, the problem is you all are not putting in enough work. What? We got to call this out. It is not enough that you are coming here amongst us. When we hold court as the black media, when we hold court among the people, we're sitting up here having a global conversation, so we speak to everyone. We don't try to have a kumbaya feel-good session about ourselves. We are here to confront the glories as well as the brutal truths and realities. So you see, if we meet someone from our lineage and they're off code, this is the place that gets sorted out. If we meet someone outside the lineage who's off code, this is the place where it gets sorted out. We don't sit up here and play wiffle ball and try to spare folks' emotions and feelings. We deal with it where it is. We have created a forum where it is. It didn't pop up overnight. It gets dealt with right here, right now. It gets dealt with here. That is a radical difference from what you see elsewhere. And this is where our ostensibly on-code brothers and sisters in the diaspora have dropped the ball. We're having a teaching moment tonight. We have got to explain to you clearly in no uncertain terms exactly what the problem is, because everybody wants to say, well, I'm not one of the off-code ones. I'm not a tether. I'm not an immigrant coon. Okay, I hear you, but that's not enough. That's not the way that works. Because understand something, when we talk about doing the paperwork check does not simply tell us where you came from. Your paperwork check is also when you say you're a member of the clique. You're not a member of the clique and you ain't putting in no work. You're not a member of the clique and you're not representing. It doesn't work that way. You can't say that you're a member of the gang and you ain't carrying your flag. We're not going to have that. That's more of that, I think I can camouflage myself. No. The paperwork check is going to the background check is going to come back. I need to see where you're from. I need to see what you're doing. What are we doing here? That's the element that's missing. Jason Black shouldn't have to say a word. You supposed to be holding that block down over there in Nigeria. You supposed to be holding it down in the Dominican Republic. You supposed to be holding it down in Jamaica. Ain't nobody running the block, man. Everybody's running around, smoking weed, chasing interracial sexual access, trying to get their demo tape heard, but ain't nobody running the block. And then when we show up and say, hey man, the block is raggedy. You being divisive. You damn right I'm being divisive. We don't run raggedy blocks. We don't run raggedy blocks, and you ain't gonna come over here and be sitting next to us and the block is raggedy. To our on-code, ostensibly on-code brothers and sisters in the diaspora, we got to call it for what it is tonight. Everybody's yelling about the tethers and whatnot, but we talking about the tethers. What about the slackers, man? Y'all are not holding it down. We shouldn't have to take any time out of what we doing. Just like we ride the reins over here on our domestic coons, you supposed to be riding herd on your domestic coons, and it ain't happening. Where's the black media voice of Jamaica? The black media voice of the Bahamas? The black media voice of the Virgin Islands? The black media voice of Turks and Caicos? The black media voice of Kitts and Nevis, the black media voice of Trinidad and Tobago, the black media voice of Haiti and Dominican Republic. Where's the voice there? Who's the person speaking for the street there in the internet space? Because you know what? We can find plenty of twerkers. Damn! You can find plenty of Jamaican chicks on OnlyFans. What? Plenty of Caribbean chicks on OnlyFans. Okay, somebody knows how to use a microphone and a camera. Plenty of that going on. Oh, and a good number of them in Nigeria, too.
Auntie, chill.
Got to call it for what it is. Okay, I meant what I said. I didn't name the UK for a reason. Folks talking about the UK. Okay, I named the places I named for a reason. You didn't hear UK. You didn't hear that one. The UK has been following us far more closely and far more closely to what we're doing. They're far more similar to us than these other folks are. These other folks just wildcatting. They just doing whatever. Let me explain to you what I mean. When you get on Twitter, when you get on Facebook, I'm on YouTube Live. Thousands of people. If I get on Twitter, it's going to be thousands of people. Okay, but guess what? As I've mentioned you all before, I am a member of Nigerian Facebook groups. I'm a follower of Nigerians on Twitter. And you should see what's going on. You should see what's going on. When they start up their own Twitter spaces, they're not talking about Nigerian unity. Damn! Get out my face, you buck-toothed dumbass. They're not talking Nigerian unity when you go in their spaces. They ain't doing that. I mean, they talking about how raggedy Nigerian women are. They're talking about how raggedy the Nigerian females are. They're talking about how nasty the Nigerian females are. Then when you start talking about tribes, I mean, they going at each other. You can see that on Twitter and on Facebook all damn day, even in the politics. Even in the politics. Even in the politics, that's what they were doing. Understand that. They're doing that now. When they talk about politics, it's only to take snipes at each other. Have you not noticed that? I remind people about this all the time. That, by the way, when you go into those groups, that's what's going on. They're not sitting there talking about cleaning out the riffraff and getting that straight. They're not doing that. In the chat room, Power Paul needs to give me a call up on Zoom. So Paul needs to give us a call up on Zoom. You got 2 minutes to be on Zoom, Paul. The link is at the top of the chat room. You got 2 minutes to go ahead and join us on Zoom. See, this is a difference in discussion here. TV1 and the rest of them, these are the kind of things that don't happen. We can get things handled quick, fast, and in a hurry here. Tom Joyner had a call-in show for decades. Never did it. In the chat room, need Paul to go ahead and give us a call up in the chat room, Paul. We're waiting on you here. Let's not dally. Let's not dally, Paul. We have modern stuff here. There's no reason to sit up here and do that. In the chat room, Melissa needs to give us a call tonight. In the chat room there, Melissa, you need to give us a call, ma'am. We're going to wait on you two here. We're going to give you 2 minutes. Melissa there needs to give us a call on Zoom. So Power Paul and Melissa, both of them need to be on Zoom. We will give them 2 minutes. Okay, Paul, not really sure what's going on here, dude, but when you get in the chat room, when you're able to call in on Zoom, then you can resume chat, brother. If you can get in the chat room, then you got time for that. Let me go ahead and see if we can get Paul up here on Zoom. Okay, Paul, you had some words to say there, brother. Unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you. Now, where are you calling in from, sir?
I'm calling from Minnesota.
Okay, by way of?
Minneapolis.
Okay, sir, that's not where your folks is from. Where are your people from, bro?
DRC.
There you go. Okay, sir, you in the chat room repping real hard for the UK. So he's not from the UK, but he's repping hard for it there. So that's the first thing I noticed.
Are you referring to, so I'm Power Paul Success, so I don't know which other Pauls in there.
You are Power Paul, sir. Yes, sir. These tribes never agreed to be a part of a nation called Nigeria. The white supremacists did that.
Yeah, so the comment that I put in there for
okay,
myself
wow,
was,
y'all notice that right there. Everybody acts, they play dumb, people. See, this is what they're on TV. They play dumb about what they said until you repeat it to them. Oh, well, yeah, that's what I said. Yes, sir, that's what you said.
No, so the comment that I made was FBA is the only people in the world that are fighting white supremacy. Is that a comment that you're referring to?
Okay, well, no, sir. The one I just said to you, sir.
Which one was that?
Okay, oh, now he's trying to play dumb again. We're going to try this again, sir. Please don't get on the screen. It sounds like you're trolling now. I just said it to you. You heard what I just said. Now you're talking about, ooh, what are you talking about? I just said it to you. He's about to get put on Front Street here in just a second. Are you sure you don't want to stop doing that? You said those tribes never agreed to be a part of a nation called Nigeria. The white supremacists did that.
Oh, no, that's not me.
Okay, you're not Power Paul?
I'm here. I'll use my username is Paul Success.
Okay, sir. In the YouTube chat room, you are not Power Paul?
Here, I'll put a comment in there and say B1, and that's my username.
Okay, sir. I'll ask for Power Paul to call in. Who the hell are you?
I'm a Power Paul Success.
Okay, there's a guy in my chat room named Power Paul. He's the one who was told to call in.
TBA, I think I did not say anything about UK and dispersion between the two things. The only comment that I made was that FBA are the only people around the world who are fighting white supremacy. That's the only comment that I put in there.
Okay, because I'm not seeing you put anything else in the chat room either, so...
Okay, here, let me go back on YouTube so I can put a comment in there again.
Okay, y'all, he's looking hella suspect right now.
Trust me, I'm not a suspect at all.
Okay, are you sure you didn't get removed already, sir, and that's why your comment's not showing up? Are you sure that's not it?
Here's my comment. I just put my comment back in again.
Okay, here, folks.
So that's me, Paul, Power, and Success. That's me.
I don't see that in the chat room at all, so I'm not really sure what he's talking about there. I don't see it.
Here, I just put it in again.
He keeps saying that.
TBA, just if you scroll up under Tony, you see Paul, Power, and Success. That's me.
Okay. I don't see that, sir, but I'll take your word for it there. For whatever reason, I'm not seeing that, so it looks like you're not actually in the chat room, sir, so you might have been removed already. Well, say he sees himself, though. It's like, okay, nobody else is seeing him, so.
I can still post. I just put another, the same comment that I put in there. FBA are the only people around the world.
Yeah, brother.
Who are fighting white supremacy.
Yeah, brother, you're not the one who was told to call in.
Okay, my bad. Okay. I heard Paul, so I called.
All right. Yeah, I think he's already been gone. Oh, I think he's already gone. It's rough to be him. Okay. Looking for Paul to give us a call here. By the way, you got power, Paul. I'm going to go ahead and remove you now, since he's decided that he does not want to call in. So, folks, understand the agent provocateurs and the Democrat shills getting paid for it. It's just going to be a rough night. It's just going to be a rough night. All right, let's go ahead and get over here to Melissa.
Hello.
All right, Melissa, you had something to tell us, ma'am.
So my comment was towards what you mentioned as far as how when you go on the African spaces and how instead of talking about progressive things, they talk bad about their women. And I realized they do that basically here too in America and everywhere else too. So that's why I said what I said.
Okay, Melissa, where are your people from?
My mom is from Jamaica.
There you go.
Yeah. My father's from here, though.
No. We can see what the dominant side of your family is. So nobody can see you like I do right now. So it's, the Jamaican side is running the yard there. So now,
in Jamaica too.
Okay, here's the problem. First of all, you do realize that deflection is the biggest, most prominent sign of immaturity, right? When somebody makes when somebody makes a point and then you attempt to deflect onto something else. If somebody makes an observation about how Nigerians are talking in the room and you didn't address that, you try to make it to, oh, well, other folks do that too. You do realize, ma'am, you do realize that doesn't do anything to change what was said, correct?
So look.
Okay, stop there. Okay, you're going to stop there first. We're going to acknowledge what I just said. You do realize that first and foremost, that doesn't change anything, right?
I understand what you're saying.
Okay, so the whole reason why it shouldn't be said in the first place is you're trying to deflect because there's an unpleasant truth that you don't want to have to deal with. So you're hoping that you can change the subject. Nah, that's not going to change reality, and we won't change the subject. Slow down. That's not going to change reality nor the subject. Second of all, what you said is wrong.
It's not wrong.
Yes, ma'am. What you said is factually false. Yes, it is. Which is exactly the point that we have been making. When we took a look and did some introspection about, by the way, folks who say stuff like that mess you just said, by the way, we started checking the paperwork to see where did they come from. Well, then you take a look at Blavity and World Star and Shade Room and a bunch of these rappers and these executives of these companies, and then a bunch of folks online repeating and reposting this stuff and people on reality TV shows. And we started to notice something. We started saying, by the way, their lineage doesn't go to us either. So a bunch of that stuff was people who immigrated over here and started replicating what they were doing over there. We're the Black love people, ma'am. We're the ones who created that slogan. We're the love song folk. We're the ones who created that. So these other things were foreign entities to us. We started asking questions about who brought this new damn music over here. Luther Campbell.
Nigga, please.
We started asking questions, ma'am, going back decades now. Hey, Luther, none of us were doing that. Where you from? Yikes. Now, Melissa won't highlight that part. I have to stop her so I can highlight it. She'll just throw that out there, even though it's false. I got to stop the train and say, wait a minute, no, that's false. Let me highlight where this came from, because she wasn't going to do it. She was just going to keep rolling. Well, we all the same. No, we're not. We're not doing that. We weren't doing it then. And furthermore, I can prove it because we are the only place that's having a conversation about that now. You don't have Luther Campbell and the Caribbean crew having this conversation like this now. They're not talking about black women or uplifting anything. They talking about getting blunted out, where they gonna get turned up at. They're talking the same stuff they've been talking for 4 decades when they're not kissing Democrats' asses. That's what they're doing. So no, ma'am, even the stuff you talking about, that didn't come from us. And we've never indulged in that as a group. Now, I do know where it is indulged in as a group. We can go to Carnival anytime you'd like to, ma'am.
And deal with it, nigga.
Now, we can start right there if you want to. You want to talk about objectifying and degrading women in this, that, and insulting environment? We can start right there with that one. You have you have no equivalent to that among the foundation. Not a one.
All right. Can I say something now, please?
Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay. So again, I agree with you. I'm not against what you're saying. All I'm saying, again, looking from my perspective as a diaspora, right? I see that we all have a thing when it comes to, you know, in a way deflecting and not really paying attention to the agenda at hand. Us here in America, we do, and we have historically been like the spearhead when it comes to, you know, handling business. You're right. Because if you look at the diaspora again, everyone is copying the Black American, right? So I'm not against what you're saying. All I'm saying is like, we have to do a better job as a community, right? Like not talking bad about our women. And that's
okay, man. We're first of all, we don't have that problem. We're leading the charge on that. We've never had that issue. Whether it's the Black Panthers or anything else, our women have never had an issue with that. Now, the other folks from these other places, that's what's going on. You don't have Facebook group. Here's the other thing. Even if you've got a smaller group of folk over there from an African whole run nations, America is not a Black run nation. Nigeria is. So you would figure that would be a bastion where at least the women of the Yoruba, they stomping for them. No, the Yoruba going at their own women. Mm-hmm, we come over here and say, wait a minute, that's off code, Jack. We don't do that. We don't do that. We're the one. Understand something. There are no Nigerians saying you need to stop that. Certainly not the Caribbean. They foot to the damn floor. Ain't that right? I can go down names all damn night. They to the foot to the floor. There's only one group saying, and knock that off. Just one. Not 5, not 10. Just one. The same one it's always been. Just us. There's no one who has held that up historically and no one stomping for it now. Just us little old folk over here by ourselves. What I'm saying is that I don't think you've actually read what those folks say over there. I don't think you've actually read that. I really don't think you have.
They where in Africa?
Ma'am, you can find them on Twitter, Facebook, and everything. They're calling them women dogs. I mean, literal dogs.
No, I haven't
They're calling them scum. They're calling them trash.
Okay.
You would figure with the situation being what it is, that it would be everybody on code and all for one. And what we're saying is that, hey, we noticed that a lot of the complaints we have about the behavior when they direct towards us, we noticed that there too. So we know where it came from. And what we're saying is it's been transported over here amongst a group that's excommunicated that. No wonder the government keeps trying to feed in a fresh new crop of it, because we keep rejecting it, as we always have. And if they stay around us long enough, they stop doing it, which requires a new influx of individuals to bring more of the noise.
Okay.
Case in point here, think about this for a few moments. For the last decade, who's been leading the charge? Let's just say, for example, in rap music, for example, Nicki Minaj, where her people from? Cardi B, where her people from? Yikes, and a bunch of them other heifers that done grab, where they people from? Then you looked up in 1 year, Kendrick Lamar. Now, isn't that interesting? You want to talk about that? And furthermore,
yeah, I understand too.
You don't have a bunch of us who are their fans. We're not their fan base. Go
Americans?
ask Kamala Harris if we're their fan base.
Americans aren't fan bases for Nicki Minaj and Cardi B?
We're not their fan base, ma'am. Go ask Kamala Harris if we're their fan base. How'd that work out for her? If we're their fan base, how did it work out? Fat Joe, man, this is not me talking. This is Fat Joe talking. Fat Joe literally said that we're literally into a rally and said, Kamala Harris told me that they need somebody to come and talk to the Puerto Ricans. Now, those are his exact words at a Kamala Harris rally that he was brought to. Those are his exact words. So that's saying who his audience is now. That's who his audience is. And it's the same thing for Cardi, and the same thing for Nicki, and the same thing for the rest of those folks. By the way, once again, these were people you hadn't heard of 20 years ago. That fresh new crop I was referring to, and then they jump right on it, and here they go. No, ma'am. Not at all. Case in point, go to your Twitter page and say, for folk who are foundational, ask how many of them got Nicki Minaj on their phones right now. Ask how many of them got Cardi B on their phones right now. She's smiling, y'all. She's smiling.
There's a lot. I'm smiling because there's so many.
She's smiling because you probably think there's a bunch of folk who got Eminem on their phones too.
People love Nicki Minaj and Cardi B.
Do they love Eminem too?
I don't know about Eminem.
Okay, wow. All right, all of a sudden, okay.
I don't even like Cardi B or Nicki Minaj.
There you go. Ma'am,
but
ain't nobody...
American people love them. They make American music.
Ma'am, ain't nobody bumping them like that. First of all, you see a bunch
of... not anymore, but I mean...
Wow, not anymore.
Yeah, because I feel like they kind of lost their hype, especially Cardi B. Nicki Minaj, but...
How'd they lose their hype? Because Beyonce never lost hers.
Yeah, so I know Cardi B in particular, again, my perspective, it just seems like she's more just like a cloudy kind of person. Like I would see her just talking crap.
Okay, she's not just cloudy and talking crap. She's a queen slut.
Yeah, like she just rubbed people the wrong way.
Okay, so well, my point, by the way, Beyonce didn't lose hers. What happened?
Yeah, she didn't. Yeah, she didn't.
Beyonce didn't lose. Okay, so Nicki lost hers. Nicki lost hers. Cardi B lost hers. The rest of them chicks who thought they had a wave, they lost theirs. Beyonce still got hers. What happened?
That's actually a good question.
Okay, it's a good question because, by the way, is there a difference in the music that they make, ma'am?
Not really.
Are you serious?
Beyonce is not a slut. I wouldn't say she's a slut.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
She makes secular music too. Though.
Okay, man, we didn't talk about secular music. Can you compare Beyonce to WAP, ma'am? Are you about to try to do that?
No.
Okay, show me the Beyonce equivalent of WAP. I'll wait.
Beyonce's equivalent?
Yeah, show me the equivalent to that. I'll wait.
Okay, I see your point.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. The light bulb just went on. Intervention! I'm very glad the light bulb just went on. So, yes, ma'am.
Okay, Jason, okay.
Okay, yes, there you go. What she say? Oh, okay. Now she gets it, y'all. Now she gets it. All right. I feel like we're making progress here. All right, so next time you wonder about that, I need you to get to your folk and say, hey, we need to cut that down because, by the way, ma'am, no offense at all. Who's got the highest rate of single mothers with children who the father's identity is questionable or unknown?
I don't. I'm not sure.
Oh, come on, ma'am. I'm not doing this to be mean-spirited. I'm doing this because I'm saying when y'all start pointing fingers, it's like, no, it ain't like that, man.
Tell me. I'm listening.
Come on now.
You want to say Jamaicans?
Baby, I thought your dad was from there. Now all of a sudden, they play dumb. I don't know what's going on back there.
My dad is from here. My dad is from South Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom is the only one that's Jamaican, but she's the one that raised me. So,
I don't know what's going on back in Jamaica. I ain't seen nothing. I ain't be back there. Okay, y'all. Jason, I don't know what's going on back there.
No, I'm more in touch with that side than my dad's side because my mom raised me. But
then you know what's going on the ground back there too, ma'am. Then you know that.
I do.
Okay, there is no there is no equivalent of that here. You want to talk about attitudes toward women? There is no equivalent of that here. Certainly, you ain't never seen that among the foundation. There is no equivalent to that. So when we point these things out and then y'all start deflecting, what you're doing is preventing yourself from dealing with the problem. You're not just lying on us. You're also stopping yourself from actually dealing with the problem and fixing the damn thing.
So a lot of people, men in Jamaica, or I'll say men, from what I noticed, they also like the whole interracial thing, kind of like what I see going on over here.
No, it ain't nothing like, no, ma'am, it ain't nothing like over here. No, ma'am, there is no equivalent, excuse me, ma'am, there is no equivalent in America to the rental dreads.
And deal with it, nigga.
There is no equivalent in America to the rental dreads, baby. Try that on somebody who don't know what's happening on them beaches. Try that on someone who doesn't know.
So
yeah, there you go.
No, I'm going to tell you, I have been in a lot of those spaces over there, and I see how those women talk about the men and literally just plot on them, and they just fall into the traps. And they do I see the same thing happen over here.
Where have you seen that happen over here? Where is it happening?
A lot,
a lot. Okay.
Obviously, not all black men.
No, ma'am. There's nothing like that happening over here. There's nothing like that happening over here. Tell me the city that's happening like over here. Tell me the city that's happening
here in Miami.
Ma'am, Miami is foreign black born central, ma'am. You just made my point for me. You're talking about yo folk.
New York, where you just talked about.
Ma'am, excuse me. So are you referring to Brooklyn and Queens?
I'm not familiar with New York, but I know New York in general.
Okay, then don't talk about it if you don't know, because I do. Queens, Caribbean Central, Brooklyn, Long Island, Dominican Republic.
Yes.
Thank you.
A lot of places, California. I mean. Okay,
as I said, we talking about your people. You're pointing to the places that are centers of your folk, ma'am. So even the examples you're giving are the centers of your folk. But baby, what you gonna try to say to me? What are you gonna try to say to me? Bayside, Biscayne, Hollywood, Sunrise? What you gonna try to say? North Miami, Miami Beach? What you gonna name, baby? Let's go ahead and do this. What you gonna say? Fort Myers? What are you going to say, man? Would you like me to walk down them streets for you? Because I can do that for you. You talking about Miami? I can do that for you, baby. Let's go. Tell me where you would like to name. No. You tell me where you would like to name, baby. We can go there tonight. You're not talking to somebody who ain't been around them blocks.
I already agreed with you, though.
Okay, that's your people down there, baby. We can do North Miami, Miami Beach, Fort Lauderdale. We can do this all damn evening. We really can. Those are your folk down there. So I'm saying that your point, notice I didn't say you were wrong. Did you notice I didn't dispute that? I didn't say, no, you wrong. That's not happening. I said, oh, who are you naming? Because of the cities you're naming, it's only going to be those.
So you're saying it's only Caribbean people that's...
I'm saying that there is no rental dread culture among foundational people. There ain't. And you can't find it anywhere. Now, you can find it in two places, Jamaica and where Jamaican men move to. Now, you can find it there. So that is a Jamaican cultural thing. And Marcus Garvey would be doing somersaults in his grave.
So what are we going to do here in America then? Because I want to focus
on... The first thing that we are going to do is we are going to speak truth to power, and we're going to speak truth to everyone. And we are not going to attempt to deflect or divert. You cannot deal with a problem until you face the problem. So when we state an empirical fact and then folks start trying to figure out how to save their feelings or save their egos or create some false equivalence, we got to slam on the brakes. There is no false equivalent. We've shown you the way, but you cannot follow our example if you're going to tell us that, nah, we all doing the same thing when we are not. No, we're not. We would be disgusted if somebody tried to kick off some damn rental dread culture over here. That would be ridiculous. Travis Hunter can't breathe right now, ma'am. That wouldn't be happening in Jamaica. They'd be cheering him on. There you go, man. They go to get the girl right there, but you got your Becky. We go for that there. You're looking good, man.
Oh, you're
That's,
talking about like that, like,
ma'am, Travis Hunter can't breathe right now, baby. That would never happen in Jamaica. Let's just put that on the bricks.
Okay,
that
okay,
would
now
never.
I can see what
No,
you're
no, no, no,
talking
no.
about.
This is what we mean by policing the block. That would never happen in Jamaica. You
Okay.
you can't name an equivalent to that in Jamaica.
Okay, so with that, I'll definitely agree with you on that. We do a really good job over here with. So how come there's so much
We.
like backlash and stuff when we do talk then? Like, why is it such an issue for us to see something and address it?
Man, we see it and address it, but some of you all who have mixed lineages, rather than immediately gravitating to that without argument or dispute, folks start arguing and pushing back because dual allegiances. It is not because we have not been saying it, and it's not because it's obviously sitting in front of you. The fact that all I had to do is ask you, who among us have you seen doing that? And you couldn't name it. Well, you didn't need me to say that. You already knew that. But you were desperate to find some equivalent so that we can say Jamaica's all right.
I mean, so something as simple as the entertainment industry, right? Like, you just mentioned Travis Hunter, so like the football and basketball league and all those spaces, like it's like I know it's a white supremacy thing that goes beyond just them dating non-black women, but it's still a representation, you know. So it's like, yeah, we do push back on it, but it still happens frequently. You know what I mean? So
Okay, ma'am, I don't know what your definition of frequently is, but the real thing is, what is the response of the rank and file and the average person? How do they respond to it? Because we don't have control over what mega conglomerates may put on television or may put on wax or may put on a billboard, but we damn sure have control of how we respond to it. So how is that being responded to on the street level is the real question. Mm-hmm. You cannot compare what's happening in these. Well, you cannot compare what's happening in Miami to what's happening in other places. You can't compare those two.
And that, of course. So we do, like what I said, we do a lot of pushback. Like, we're like, man, like it just looks bad, as a collective. Like, obviously we can't control everyone, and it's not about controlling all of us, but nonetheless, we're all black, and it's still nonetheless a representation.
Okay, but the bottom line is that we are not doing that with women. We don't have that relationship with them. We don't have an exploitative relationship with black women. We don't have that. We never sought that. We don't have historical points of that. We've never had that. You know why? Because we've never had a black government. What? Yikes, am I going to go there? You damn right I'm going to go there. That kind of talk isn't relegated to the reason why the average Nigerian on the street talks like that is because that attitude permeates all the way up to the presidential mansion there. That's the reason. The reason why you have that talk among the average Jamaican male is because that goes all the way up to the top. The reason why you had that attitude in Haiti is because that went all the way up to the top. Moise was sitting up there partying and bull jiving right up until they came to his house and killed him. It's on YouTube, y'all. They were there for carnival. He was out there partying and bull jiving with the rest of them. Right up until they came to the place and killed him. And I'm not saying that he should have been killed. That's wrong. What I'm saying is that, by the way, that attitude go all the way to the top. So no, the team reflects leadership. You don't have a leadership among us or anybody in a hierarchy above us promoting that attitude. We wouldn't have that. A bunch of our women walking down the street in their damn thongs and whatnot, swinging their butt cheeks by the thousands. Hell, they got TV shows to show that off, and they're proud of it. We don't have that. And we're the ones who
into something different.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, okay, but everybody got an equivalent to it, ma'am. Mm-hmm. That's my issue. Everyone has an equivalent to it. That's why we pointed out these websites, Shade Room and Blavity and things. They've come over here, and all she could think to do with that little old money that they gave her, that little old stimulus money that they gave her for the Shade Room, is to start doing what she's doing. That's all she could think to do that. Lowest common denominator is like, okay, that was what immediately came to mind, like a duck to water. That's the thing that we were talking about. Hey, and it's not just a one-off. We noticed a pattern of this. And when we point, and then most of all, they're always trying to paint that as if that's us, or they always try to focus that on us. And meanwhile, they're the ones promoting it. And it would be different. Here's the killing part, baby. It would be different if Jamaica was straight. It'd be different if Jamaica had its act together and everything was buttoned up. That would be different if they were doing that, sitting up here throwing shade on us and Jamaica was straight. It's exactly the opposite.
Yeah,
it's exactly the opposite.
There, though,
you know exactly what it's going to take over there.
Well,
no. You know exactly what's going to take over there. It's going to take those of you who got Jamaican blood to stop trying to make false equivalences and make it your mission to talk to Jamaica to Jamaicans about Jamaica.
They don't consider me Jamaican because I was born over here.
Okay,
They call me a Yankee.
Let me tell you, ma'am. Let me tell you something. You're gonna learn something from the foundation today. We would never settle for that garbage you just said. This is the cultural difference.
Since I was a little
ma'am,
baby,
we would not settle for the garbage you just said. That's the difference between you and us, because we understand power is not given, power is taken. If people do not want to listen to you, they're going to make up a reason to delegitimize you. There's a reason why we got certain folks of mixed lineages up out of here, because you're not going to play the game where you're black when convenient, you down when convenient. Oh, I'm worried these folk won't listen to me. You don't get to stay. There's always going to be somebody challenging your credentials to delegitimize you, to shut you up. Not because what you're saying is wrong, but as a tactic, well, we're going to see if we can shut you up. Baby, sometimes you're going to have to throw elbows and kick some niggas in the knees, and you's like, I'm going to be heard. Because this is my birthright. Now, this takes me to another point here. I know you're Jamaican because you got your flip-flops on running. Damn! No offense, y'all. She fleeing off. She ain't even in Jamaica and fleeing already. Just that's it. She running out. She's doing the damn Carl Lewis.
I'm so confused. No, I'm not running.
My mama Jamaican. Let me get up out of here. How in the hell are you gonna sit up here and say your mom's Jamaican and then let folks up here and tell you can't speak on Jamaica?
No. I'm talking about, okay, so there's this weird thing like about Jamaicans. They're very, it's like they're territorial or something. And it's my family. Like
everyone is, ma'am.
Aunts,
everyone is. That's not new.
Like, like you're not Jamaican. You're gonna go back to your home over there. In America. You're
okay. And did that disprove the rightness or wrongness of what you were saying? Because if it didn't, then it's irrelevant, ma'am. You are going to get what you take, not what you're given. That's the way that's going to go. So if someone is able to discourage you that easily, you ain't never gonna make it nowhere. And that's another point that Marcus Garvey made. There are Negroes we're going to have to leave behind because they were worthless in America. They'll be worthless to us in Africa. Baby, if you ain't going to stand 10 toes down for what you are, why in the world should the rest of us have any faith you're going to stand by foundations either? The truth is the truth. No,
I'm here for a reason, Jason.
The truth is the truth no matter where it is said, no matter who it's said by. I've got niggas tried to argue with me, tried to delegitimize me, try to stigmatize me, try to sit up here and argue and dispute me. It happens every damn week. You ain't seen me go nowhere. I'm right here.
You're right.
Live, live and in person in New York City. It's right here on YouTube. I'm sitting right there in front of hundreds of people, packed house, New York. I'm sitting right there in front of them. Anybody got an issue? I'm sitting right here on the damn stage. Washington D.C., same thing, ma'am. We built the difference is that we built different because we gonna stand 10 toes down. Nobody is gonna run us off our block, and you ain't gonna run us off our corner. I wish you would run up talking about what I can't speak on. You're not gonna run me off my block nor my corner. That's the issue with Jamaica. Everybody trying to figure out how to get the hell away from it and distance themselves. And when that attitude changes, then Jamaica will change. But ain't nobody trying to stand 10 toes down for Jamaica except the dude smoking weed. Now,
that's why
them
I'm
fellas
here
are standing 10 toes down.
on a Saturday night, right? Like how we said the other night when you were talking, New Year's time, we can be doing anything else, but whoever's here is actually that's dedicated. I'm here for a reason, and I got on this live for a reason too.
Ma'am, if somebody
So-
tells you you can't speak on that, you can't speak on that, you need to go back to America. Tell them, nigga, make me.
Okay. And I agree, So but I'm still American too. I'm American, and my mom is Jamaican. So I want to speak for both. I want to speak for the diaspora, really.
Well, the thing is, you all used to have a free lane open to be able to do that, but with folks wanting to claim one or the other,
I'm not that though.
a person
I
is
see
either
myself
going,
more as American. I'm just born here.
okay, well, the real thing is, what we did was when you talk about pan-Africanism, when you talk about global blackness, and then folks talking about they're Jamaican first. When somebody's handing out money or medals, oh, now all of a sudden I'm Jamaican.
I don't agree with that. I don't
No
subscribe
one,
to that.
we have not disputed anybody whose lineage goes to Jamaica. When they use that as a wedge to delineate themselves from us, then we like, okay, that's a one-way trip.
No, I understand that completely.
I'm not Jamaican, but I have no problem speaking about the issues I see in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying it from a position of being denigrating or offensive. I said it a million times. Jamaica is one of the most gorgeous places on this planet. It would be even more beautiful if you could get the Jamaicans to feel the same way. Because the spirit
I agree.
The spirit
I
of
agree.
the spirit of Bookman Duddy is dead in Jamaica. The spirit of Marcus Garvey is dead
That's a
in
whole
Jamaica.
other conversation.
No, it is not. It's the same one we having tonight here because Carnival Cruises owns the coastline. Norwegian owns the coastline. Those folks own the coast. The Chinese got the coastline. Jamaicans, literally, there's a video on YouTube right now talking about Jamaicans have 10%. Jamaican citizens are allowed to go to 10% of the coastline. 10%. 10%. So in other words, basically none. None, because it's not like they just have a 10% of it that's just blocked off. No, they're just about cumulatively. The little patch here and the little patch there and the little patch. If you add all the little patches up, you got 10%. I'll be damned. Now that's Jamaican culture. It used to be the culture of resistance with Marcus Garvey. It used to be, then they even ran him off.
Yeah.
And how
Well,
you
for
can
that,
be, and we had a civil rights movement where we took to the streets. Jamaica ain't had that yet.
I'll tell you why, though, if you care to know. I don't know if you want me to go there.
Ma'am, you're on here. You're wasting daylight.
Okay. So, honestly, I don't know what your religious beliefs are, and I don't want to offend anyone, but honestly, it is the dilution of our African spirituality that caused us to be like that. Because you have a lot of Jamaicans that's really low key that are ready for the rebellion and they're ready to do something, but it's just such an overwhelming amount of Jamaicans that are so just like they're just addicted to religion and they're just addicted to
Okay, ma'am.
okay,
Here's the issue. Okay, religion is a tool. If you're a coward, you're going to interpret the Bible through the eyes and ears of a coward. If you're a rider, you're going to interpret the Bible through the eyes and the ears of a rider. If you're a revolutionary, you're going to interpret the Bible through the eyes and the ears of a revolutionary. The same white folk who told black folk the Bible said you're supposed to be in chains, Nat Turner, a black preacher, read the same Bible and said, it said, rise up. All the Bible does is it's a tool that's used by an individual to accentuate and emphasize what they already are. So if you're reading a Bible or any religious text and you are taking powerlessness out of it, that's not a testament to that book. That's a testament to the person reading it. They're taking from it that which reinforces what they already want to do. And then you take a look at the rest of it. It's not like the rest of their lives is in conflict with it. Their whole lives are cowardly. Their whole lives are deficient. Their whole lives are running. Their whole lives are giving away their power to other people, not just religiously. Their whole life does that. Every aspect of their life you see it in. You don't see anything that's in conflict with that. And by definition, human beings are supposed to have idiosyncrasies. But the folk you talking about, there's no idiosyncrasy there. That's all they do.
So what would you suggest from your perspective then would need to change over there?
Ma'am, we had a whole civil rights movement, no religion required. Yeah, you had the clergy back then, but let's be very, very clear. By the time you get to the Panthers, that's not a clergy-driven movement. It's not a clergy-driven movement. You are going to need Jamaicans to define what being Jamaican is. Right now, being Jamaican is rental dreads, weed, and white women. We one big-ass resort, but we're not respected. When Jamaicans make a decision as a group that they are going to redefine that and get back to some respectable basics, then you will see that change. But it's going to have to start with a group of folk who are like, do or die. This is our life's mission. This is our life's work. Because you got folks who made their life's work to grow weed, shake their butt cheeks, and sit up here and hang out by the cruise ships. When Jamaica gets a revolutionary group, and it doesn't have to be thousands of them, it can be just 10 people. But when they say this is what we are going to give our lives to, we are going to be the apostles of Black empowerment here on Jamaican soil. When that happens, then everything changes. When that becomes do or die, I'm not here to do it to be popular. I'm not here to do it to be famous. I'm not here to do it to get people to like me. I'm willing to do this even if it kills me. Now, there's one that stopped most Jamaicans. Our riders over here were willing to die for this. There's been a number of us who have had hairy situations with guns pointed at us in the new damn black media. So don't say you about this business if you're not willing to die for it. Literally die for this. Dudes is willing to die for weed and white women. When it comes for dying for the soil, oh man, I don't know, we can do that, man. It's not about how messed up the other people are. How valuable is it to you? Because it doesn't matter if there's 1 million people in Jamaica, if only 5 of you say it's valuable, the 5 of you who say it's valuable outweighs the 1,995,000 who say it isn't. When you get that attitude, everything changes. As I said, power will be taken, not given. You waiting for the masses to give it to you, then you might as well go ahead and hand the keys to the Chinese now and y'all get the hell on up out of there. And quit bull jiving and pretending you're going to get some. You might as well go ahead and hand the keys over to the Chinese now and save them the Chinese the trouble of running y'all off.
Man, they already got the keys.
Okay, well then, no, this is Jamaica's legacy then.
Look,
okay, no. Then this is Jamaica's legacy, but now you understand why we want to put distance between ourselves and that, because we don't want that to be our fate, because we cut different. We had folk 20 years ago telling us about what we wasn't going to get and what wasn't going to happen and this, that, and the other. Y'all ain't never going to get reparations. Now they're like, y'all niggas asking for too much. Y'all asking for too much. It went from you're never going to get it to, man, why y'all making so much trouble? Why y'all don't get so much? We didn't let the majority sit up here and dictate what we was going to do. Power was taken, not given. And we've shown you, we still on the job, we still on that business right here. That's the difference. That is our culture. We don't do this to be popular, we do it to be powerful. That's what needs to change. Right there.
I agree.
Thank you for giving us a call tonight. Jason, why you had that conversation? Because I want brothers and sisters from all around the world to understand and hear those things, because the arguments that she was making, those are arguments that are commonly made by other people. Those are arguments made commonly by other people, and I want you all to hear what the sensible, logical answer to that is. If somebody tries to bring up those points, you don't have to sit up here and reinvent the wheel. Just repeat to them what you heard from me. My job is just to give you the intellectual talking points. You heard what she said. You saw me sit up here and go right down the list of it. You can't argue with the examples I gave. That's a wrap right there, partner. That's a wrap right there. Okay, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, people. You don't. You've already got the talking points you need. You've already got the intellectual firepower. You already got it right there. I just gave it to you. All you have to do is repeat the words you heard me say. Play this program until you memorize what I said. Somebody says that, you can just fire back the right answer, and you just heard it will hold. Don't matter who it is, where it is, what it is, it will hold. And by the way, this is what we call a teaching moment. I've been saying that the whole program. This is a teaching moment. This is not about putting anybody down or denigrating anybody. This is about saying that if you are going to ride with us, you must get your house in order. Jamaica needs riders. Trinidad and Tobago need riders. We need folk who value that. You coming over here and trying to value this, or if we can hijack it. No. If you can't value the soil you were born on, then I know all you can do is bring that energy over here to us. We ain't looking for all of us to lose what we got. We're not looking for all of us to do that. We sitting up here gaining ground now. You talking about Bruce's Beach and these other places? It's the 21st century. We gaining ground now. In front of everybody. We gaining it now. We making it happen right here, right now. You think we're going to sit up here and have patience for folk telling us what can't be done? And, we going to lose this here. No, not we. Not we. We're going to go ahead and take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. I got a bunch of folks piling up in here, but I got to go ahead and do this. Before I do, I want to thank everyone, and I do mean everybody who's contributed to tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo, my man Cornell Sly. Thank you very much for your support tonight, brother. We appreciate that. Pugilism Company, thank you very much as well, brother. Cyberdyne, Mogul Maze, everybody on the Super Chat, thank you very much for your support. We're going to take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. When I come back, I got folks lining up here on Zoom. We're going to go ahead and get to all of you. This is the Black Channel.
When you visit MrBeTheTeacher.com, you can get a copy of his award-winning book, Guidelines for the Successful Student. While you're there, grab one of his newest tunes along with fun and educational lyric videos.
Never give up, don't worry, never give up, study. In order to
times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6. 2
now swap names, he, she, they, and we. Simplify the satanic divides as the father and guide. Money multiplies and shares of what they buy.
You can also acquire his tutoring services via varsitytutors.com or tutor.com. If you wish to speak to Steve Burgess directly, you can do so through MrBeTheTeacher.com.
The Honey Badger and the Mongoose is a children's story for the family of how a honey badger and mongoose fight an evil alliance of venomous cobra snakes and hyenas that overhauls the balance of the savannah. The Big Five. The honey badger demands reparations. Will the Big Five give the honey badger reparations? Can the evil alliance of cobras and hyenas be stopped? The best new price for the hard and soft cover is at www.thehoneyBadgerandthemongoose.com. You can also find this book at Amazon, Audible, and Kindle.
Order yours today to experience all the benefits of Ash Kickin' Body Butter. With skin so smooth and soft, you'll thank us for it. Shop Ash Kickin' online. That's ASHKICKIN.com.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slaveries and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
This is the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. Very glad to be with you all here this evening. Let me give you a word here right now. Before we jump back over here on the Zoom, I want to have a word here right now about credentials. Let me explain something to you out there. The folks who don't get it here, you don't ever back down from your credentials. When somebody challenges your credentials, you know the street code. You know the black code. If somebody challenges your credentials, you live by it, die by it. You don't, there's time. Let me tell you something. Sometimes there may be a time in this world you make a strategic fallback. Your credentials is you never make a fallback. You never run when somebody challenges your credentials. You stand on that. You see, that's the value of your word. A person is only as good as their word. And if your word is not good for that, if you say what you are, but your word is no good on that, nothing else you say is either. If somebody challenges your credentials, it's like, hold on, wait a minute, partner. That's not up for debate. Who's challenging my stripes? Who is that claiming it ain't what it is? You stand on that one. You stand on that one. You don't ever let somebody move you off of your credentials. Now, let me say a word about Jamaica. Well, Jason, how can you rationalize this about Jamaica? It's not about rationalizing. It's about the facts of it. This is just a fact. Jamaica is a geographic area. There is nothing wrong or objectionable about simply claiming the geographic location of Jamaica. That's fine. When you claim Jamaica as your geographic location, understood, no issues. But when you tell us that being Jamaican is its own separate ethnic group, what? Now, when you come back and tell me that Jamaica isn't just a geographic location, that it is its own separate ethnic group that sets you separate and apart from the rest of us, well, now I got to deal with you differently. When you make that statement, that Jamaica is not simply a geographic location, it's an ethnic group. It's a separate ethnic group of people. Now I got to deal with you. If that's your position, I got to deal with you differently. When you say that one. So for anybody out there who wonder, well, how is it you can tell her she can stand up for that? Well, it's a geographic location. Now, if somebody tries to take it beyond that, it's okay. Stand on your square. Now, I can't claim Jamaica as a geographic location. I can't do that. The folk who can do that, if they're going to keep that geographic location, they need to make a stand on it. If they plan on keeping it, because you got folk coming at you for it. I guess we're going to find out how much you value it. Let's go ahead and jump back over here on Zoom. Let me get Andre. I got a bunch of folks lined up here on Zoom, so everybody who's on Zoom, just go ahead and hang in there. I'm going to get to all of y'all here. Let me go ahead and get Andre up here on Zoom. Andre is trying to connect his newfangled audio here, so we're going to see if he makes it here or not. Okay, why does Andre look like a young Robin Harris? I don't understand. Okay, Andre got his Zimbabwe broadband going. It just keeps saying it's connecting audio. There you go. All right, Andre, what's on your mind?
Hello?
Yes, sir, you're on.
Yes, I'm Andre. I'm originally from Jamaica.
Okay, where are you living at now?
Oh, I'm living in Bronx, New York.
Okay, take those earphones out, dude. It's real muddled.
Oh.
Yes, I know Apple told y'all folks they work great. No, they don't. Okay, where are you at now?
But no, I'm not hearing you.
Okay, you might want to turn the speakers on or something. Not YouTube, please. Don't turn YouTube on. It'll start echoing.
I'm sorry, I'm not hearing you.
Okay, where are you people from? I mean, where are you calling from?
But okay.
Where are you calling from?
Yes, I'm calling from Bronx, New York.
Okay, you're calling from Bronx, New York. What's on your mind?
Right. I heard the previous caller. I think that she left out a few stuff because you see, as a Jamaican, born to Jamaican parents that living abroad, sometimes what happens is that they approach Jamaica from the point of view that they're like a white tourist. Basically, they treat Jamaica like a tourism spot, not really a cultural center for them. They're more aligned with American culture, but they claim Jamaican culture when Black Americans target them in terms of how they behave.
Okay, how Black Jamaicans how Black Americans target whom?
All right, target them means, all right, so for instance, you're claiming your culture, right? So whenever a Jamaican living abroad trying to claim Black American culture, Black Americans, it seems as if they check them. So in as a self-defense, what happens is that Jamaican that living abroad start to claim Jamaica as a self-defense. So
okay, sir, tell me when that has occurred, sir. When has that happened?
It happens frequently. Whenever foreigners come from abroad to Jamaica, and they have Jamaican heritage, they frequently speak about how Black Americans.
Okay, tell me the Jamaicans who came to America and they were ostracized by us because of their Jamaicanness. I want to hear who that was.
I hear it all the time, even from Jamaicans.
No, you have. No, you haven't.
I heard it all the time, even from Jamaicans living in the
Okay,
Bronx.
sir, if that's the case, then why are so many of them fighting to get over here if they're universally and generally getting ostracized? That makes no sense. Why would they fight to get over here then?
They leave because of the financial.
Okay, why would you go to a place where you're being ostracized, sir? Second try. Why would you do that? That makes no sense.
It's not I mean, a person can ostracize it, but you can, separate them from the environment. It can move around them.
Okay, very clearly they're not being ostracized because nobody sits up here and comes by the millions to a place where you're being ostracized, sir. And they're not moving to white neighborhoods. They're moving in the neighborhoods we're in. So very clearly what you just said is factually false. However, I will go even further, sir. Marcus Garvey was welcomed with open arms.
Damn. Well, of course.
Stop. Bob Marley was welcomed with open arms.
Deal with it, nigga.
Shabba Ranks was welcomed with open arms. Bob Marley's son is still welcomed with open arms today. There is no place that they are ostracized, sir. That is simply false.
Hold on.
What's his name? Usain Bolt, welcome with open arms. We didn't care whether he won the gold or lost it.
Hold on. Let me say my part.
Sir, no. Take issue with what I just said there. What did I just say that was false there, sir? Because I just disproved your whole point.
Look, I'm born in Jamaica. I'm born in Jamaica and I moved there recently. I'm just basically regurgitating the information that I was given here by Jamaicans that already lived there for decades, or some of them even born here. That's the point I'm trying to make here.
Okay, Jamaicans have never been ostracized, nor targeted, nor mistreated, nor anything else by us. They have been protected and welcomed by us. Otherwise, they remember. Whoa! They have been welcomed and protected by us, literally, because remember that's why they were able to deport Marcus Garvey after he had residency here. We were the ones who had to fight to make sure that kind of thing after Woodrow Wilson wouldn't happen again. We are the ones who made that. Well, I'm not talking what somebody else did. That wasn't Jamaicans didn't stomp to keep that from happening in the future. We were the only people who prevented that from repeating itself. Just us.
But hold on. When I said targeted, I don't mean in the same way that other white supremacists would target you. I'm talking. When I say target, I mean in terms of criticism.
Okay, there isn't any criticism of Jamaicans. There is no generalization. There's no ostracization by criticism, word, deed, or anything else. You go to New York City, the chicks sit up here and go gaga about Jamaican accents if you got a legitimate one. If you got a legitimate one, some paper, because you got to watch out for the broke ones. But a legitimate one, some paper, that's never been a big issue there. We just tell them, watch out for the broke ones. Watch out for that now. There's a little issue going on there because they'll talk you out your house and home. But other than that, no, there's no issue.
Well, yes, I understand that because I myself, I work in the finance industry and I don't experience that situation they're speaking of. I'm just saying, As I said before, regurgitating the information that I was given based on the experiences of.
So in other words, rumor.
No, not rumor.
Okay,
rumor,
what you just said that you're repeating. You just saying that you're repeating something you heard from someone else that you yourself.
Not someone.
Sir, you're saying that you're repeating something you heard from some other source that you yourself cannot independently validate. Sir, that's called rumor. That's the definition of a rumor. Something that you heard from another source that you can't independently corroborate.
Yes, but I have good
rapport.
Wow,
okay.
I have good rapport with most Black Americans, so I don't really experience that myself.
Okay, thank you. So doesn't that stand to reason that those folks have the same experience? So even if you're hearing that from somebody, it's obviously not a true statement, because why are you not all having the same experience?
Well, I mean, all right. Jamaican culture might be, there's some nuances as it relates to how we talk and how we conduct ourselves. But that doesn't mean that how would I say this now? That doesn't mean,
sir, you can't name a single Black neighborhood where Black foundational folk click up and it's just all them and no Jamaicans. I can show you several places in New York where it's all Jamaicans and no foundationals. Now explain why that is, if we're targeting other people for ostracization.
But perhaps they just want to live amongst themselves.
Wow, okay, all of a sudden is, well, perhaps they this. Now, he didn't say it's wrong. He didn't say that they're off code. I just showed him we don't do that with them. Sir, the folks who do that are your folks. You just proved it. Thank you. You just proved it. There are no exclusive foundational neighborhoods, but plenty of exclusive Jamaican ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes. Now, you want to talk about who's being targeted? Yeah, I know we are.
But isn't that kind of wrong still to exaggerate that point? Because look at it this way. You can't really just blame the entire group on the faults of a few.
Okay, sir. No, you don't blame the entire group. However, in general, that is a true statement. No, excuse me. In general is a true statement. The exceptions to the rule do not disprove the rule. We're trying to get the exceptions to the rule to get the other folks on code so that this is no longer a rule.
And furthermore, I hear a lot of Jamaicans on YouTube speaking about the issues in Jamaica. Perhaps they just don't understand the way how they're speaking because they're speaking in the Jamaican patois or Creole, Jamaican Creole. So I hear countless YouTube channels talk about the situation in Jamaica, how the Chinese are taking over, how the Indians are taking over certain industries, and they're kind of sectioning Black Jamaicans off to not being able to participate in the business sector.
Okay, why are they allowing that to happen, sir?
I mean, it's a multiple of issues.
Okay,
I could say it's the government. I could say it's a lack of initiative.
Oh, then again, it could be the culture.
Culture.
Yeah, tough pill to swallow. Then again, it could
culture.
They have no, as you just pointed out and acknowledged, they have no problem clicking up over here when they get over here. You can't be more clicked up than Jamaica is back in Jamaica, and yet take a look at how it's been taken over. Now, how is that possible when they've clearly demonstrated that they'll click up? Why are they not doing it with these Asians and white folk on Jamaican soil?
You're right.
Wait. There's a reason for it. You know what it is. So let's bring it to the light, brother. You'll feel better. This is going to take a burden off your shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
The truth will set you free, but first it will tick you off. So let's go ahead and get this off our shoulders real quick, brother. Why is that?
Repeat the question.
Why is it that Jamaicans have demonstrated they can click up over here in America? Why are they not clicking up on the Chinese and the white folk back on Jamaican soil?
From what I've heard, that basically there's more of a industry or a more there's a better situation here.
Maybe, sir, maybe it's the culture that they don't do that with non-foundational people. Maybe that's the answer.
But I know a lot of Jamaicans that work with Black Americans.
Okay, but sir, back on Jamaican soil, they are not even clicking up in their own defense or in their own interest where the Chinese and the white folk are. Obviously there's a discrepancy there, and you know why it is. because they see those people differently.
Also, I don't think they see Chinese, or they might see the Europeans differently because.
Sir, how can you say they don't see the Chinese differently and the Chinese are sitting over there building whatever the hell they want to? Very clearly they do. Obviously they do.
The Chinese.
Oh boy.
All right.
This is called, ladies and gentlemen, this is called cognitive dissonance. What's happening on this phone right now? This is cognitive dissonance.
Hold on. Jamaica have certain natural resources, right? The reason why a lot of Jamaicans are not really taking use of it because initially they didn't even understand how to use it. Looking at it, Jamaican typically draw to the Black American experience because it's a contrast to what is happening on the island. So when the Chinese come there though.
Okay, folks, let me explain to you how it is that we were able to make the progress that we did after chattel slavery. After chattel slavery, we got together and we started analyzing who the folks were, the house niggas and the field niggas. And it was a century-long effort on our part to filter ourselves out from the house niggas, the ones who were collaborating with our slave masters on the plantations. It was a difficult situation because we had to look at ourselves. We had no one else to blame. We had other folk we could have scapegoated, but we made a decision that we were going to root this thing out from ourselves. And that meant that we had to have very tough, very difficult, very painful conversations with ourselves about deficiencies and shortcomings within ourselves. And within about a 50-year time frame, you have I'm Black and I'm proud and a whole new cultural dynamic. But that only occurred because we were willing to acknowledge that there was a serious problem within the culture, within our activities. And that was the only way we were able to change it. Everyone else since then has been a beneficiary of our willingness to take those difficult steps over an extended period of time. That's what's missing from Jamaica and Barbados and Turks and Caicos and Nigeria and Kenya and Ethiopia, and I'll be here all evening. That's what's missing. An unwillingness to do that one step because it's a damn difficult one, because it requires a person to start by saying, hello, I'm Jamaican and I got a problem. And that's a hard step to take when you're prideful and don't want to admit that there's a problem. Well, guess what? The rest of the world sees it is not stopping it from being a problem. When Jamaica makes that the culture, then you're going to see a movement start that changes all those things back. And the government and all these folk who've taken advantage of it will follow suit. But as long as you all are unwilling to admit there's a problem, in the words of Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, white folk play dumb about racism and black folk play dumb along with them. The whites and the Asians in Jamaica will play dumb about racism and y'all gonna play dumb along with them. And next thing you know, when they get done, it'll just be them. This is a tough conversation to have, to be sure, but a required one for the Jamaican people. It will not be easy, but it'll be required.
But I'm saying we are having this conversation. We're just not privy to this conversation because when Jamaicans speak to other Jamaicans, we speak to other Jamaicans in our language. So
sir, that don't work. No, that's not gonna fly. That's not gonna fly either, sir. Because if that was the conversation among the rank and file Jamaicans, we would be ear hustling it. We'd hear about that. We certainly hear about the hoes. We certainly hear about the twerk festival. If that was the conversation happening on the street in Jamaica, we'd be ear hustling it. That would already be making the block, dude. That's not going to be some big ass secret.
But when Jamaicans speak in Patois, do you understand?
Sir, when Nigerians are speaking in their language, when Eritreans are speaking in their language, we still finding out what's going on over there. You think patois is a damn obstacle? We still finding out, dude, if things is changing on the streets, we gonna ear hustle it. It's what we do. First of all, it's foundational. Ear hustling is what we do. First of all, it's science, so we ear hustle. If that was happening, dude, we'd be on top of it. We would see that as part of the culture, and we're like, hey, this is what's going on. Because niggas talk. I don't know what makes y'all think that if you're in Jamaica, niggas don't talk. Niggas in Jamaica talk. Niggas in Jamaica talk all the time. I don't know what makes y'all think they don't talk. Niggas talk. He's trying to, folks. I mean, no offense, Jamaica does not have a code of omerta. I don't know what y'all think going on. We speak patois, dude. This is not the mafia. Jamaica niggas talk.
Mm-hmm.
Come on now, bro. Let's just keep it the $103. Dude, are you telling me that Jamaica ain't talking? That Jamaica don't talk?
Yeah, yes, we do talk because
Okay.
I hear conversations.
Try to keep a secret in Jamaica. Try it. Tell me a secret you have in Jamaica that you can guarantee ain't gonna get out. Tell me which one that gonna be.
I mean, as I said before, I hear these conversations. Jamaicans on the island are just as fed up with the Chinese because the government is not really giving us the same opportunities that the Chinese are having, because the Chinese are coming with their $1 billion or $1 trillion industries to build in Jamaica, and some people in Jamaica are fine with that, but
my whole thing about it, though, is that for Jamaica here, the culture needs to change, and they need to have a national introspective conversation. That needs to be the number one political issue, period. The number one political issue, the number one social issue, that's what it needs to be.
And furthermore, with a country of approximately 3 million people, we just don't necessarily, and our currency is what? $1 is
okay, brother. When you're talking about a nation that's what, less than the size of Atlanta?
But
brother, okay, what the hell you gonna say to that? Now, what are you gonna say that's gonna disprove what I just said?
But Georgia have a budget probably 100 times the budget of Jamaica.
Sir, it doesn't take a budget for folk to talk to each other, sir.
But I'm saying we do have conversations.
Okay, what I'm saying is that you have a much smaller population than we have in most of our major U.S. cities, dude. That's no reason for you not to be able to talk to each other. That's a whole lot fewer of you need to communicate.
Yeah, but all right. For 2024, the annual budget for Jamaica is about $6.6 billion US.
Okay, and the cost of talking to your neighbors is how much, sir?
We just don't have the budget of the American. Okay, you're talking about.
Okay, sir, what is the budget to talk to your neighbor? What's that one?
I'm saying we do have conversations.
Okay, then that's all you need. That doesn't require a government or a government budget. Getting off your ass and go talk to your neighbor about what the issue is right there. That's what it is. All this making up excuses to get nothing done. Okay, brother, can't never could. That's the problem.
But how are we going to compete with Chinese investments if our
dude, you're going to compete
less than 1%?
The first thing is everybody got to get on code. You're not going to get on code until you all start talking to each other about why you're off code. Then you can actually get on code, and that doesn't require a government budget. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. That does not require a government budget, folks. It doesn't. It doesn't. When folks stop making all the excuses, you're going to get some different things done. Okay, let me go ahead and see if I can run through this here real quick. Gonna have to make some of these other ones a little bit shorter because I got like a dozen folk up here. Let me see if I can get Free Melanated Woman up here on Zoom. I'm going to try to give her a moment here. It looks like she might have stepped away from her Zoom. Can't stick around all night for it, but Free Melanated Woman, let me give you a moment here. Free Melanated Woman, there you go. All right, Free Melanated Woman, and what is on your mind?
Hello, how are you doing? I'm glad to be here. Thank you for accepting my call. I've been a part of the group for a while, and I just want to say, first of all, I appreciate what you're doing. I think that educating the people and helping the people to understand who we are as a people and having this conversation is so necessary. So thank you, first and foremost. I'm calling from Abuja, Nigeria. I am an African-American woman, born and raised in America, okay? I was one of the people that people were calling tethers because I said I was in Nigeria, and everybody jumped to conclusions because she's from Nigeria, she must be a tether. No, I'm a veteran who's born in America. My dad is a veteran. And I'm calling because I agree with a lot of what you say and what you teach. And I appreciate the work that you're doing. I think it's awesome. But I'm trying to understand your mindset and the mindset of a lot of people who are label themselves FB1 or whatever, it's like there's this combativeness between people here on the continent and B1, FBAs, or whatever.
There is. There is. What do you think that is?
Why do I think that is?
Yes. What you're saying is a true statement. So why do you think that is?
That's what I'm trying to understand.
Okay, I don't think you're trying to understand it. I mean, everything you just told me makes it clear to me. Yeah, you should already understand it. So come on, let's do better than that. Come on now, let's not do that. Let's just keep it real.
I've been here for about a year, okay, and it's been a learning experience. I first started coming to Nigeria back in 2021 on mission trips. I developed an appreciation and yes, even a love for Nigerian people because I see the struggle that's here. I'm boots on the ground here. I see what's going on here. However, this time around, being here for almost a year, I can see some of the friction. And I think it's just it's the Nigerian people, some Nigerian people, not all, feel the way they feel.
Folks don't have to say not all. There's nothing's a mathematical absolute except death. However, it's the majority. So we can definitely reference them as a group.
Yes. I think that is a lack of education. You have to understand that the people here are raised, they're groomed from a baby. You want to get out of here. You want a japa to America, a japa to the UK. And they look at going to America as a dream come true. I mean, in the churches, they prophesy it. You're going to get your visa, and it's sad to me because I try to tell people here to stay here and fight for what's yours. Fight for your land. Fight for your resources. Fight for your right.
Right. Okay. But in the interest of being concise, though, because I got a lot of folk here, but you just articulated what the issue is. So you're saying, I don't know what the issue is. Yeah, you do. That's the cultural difference. You don't have to sell us on blackness and pride in it and value in it. You're sitting over there in Nigeria and got to sell them on the idea and the concept of it. That's where the conflict comes from. They have an issue with us. They think we're the wrong ones. You talking about they want to come to America. What you mean is they want to become white. Now that's what you mean. You're saying come to America. What you mean is they want to become white.
I won't argue with you with that. But it's education. It's a lack of education. And,
I don't think that's not a true statement either. What is the education that they're missing, ma'am?
The education about standing up, fighting for your rights, self-determination.
Okay, if they can fight to hustle up on a visa, then they've already understand struggling for something. So what you're talking about, the difference is, here comes that word again, they don't value it. You value it. They don't. They value something else. And you're trying to get them to value this other thing. And they're letting you know, that's not really what our hustle is about. We value something else. Now, until you can accept that part, that they hear you very clearly, you're trying to get them to value something that they don't. Until you accept that, you're going to be having a lot of conflict in yourself. And giving excuses like, well, they just don't understand. We need to educate them. Baby, they understand perfectly. They don't want what you're selling. They want white Jesus. They want Zaddy. The females imagine themselves as being Jennifer Aniston on Friends, and you know it. Yeah, that's why she's smiling right now. The females over there they fantasize that you don't know a single Nigerian female that cannot sing the theme song to Friends.
Deal with it, nigga.
And you know I'm telling the truth. Not a single one who can't sing that theme song. Baby, you know what's going on. You went over there and crinkled your hair up like that. The average Nigerian female are looking at you like you crazy. You can't find 3 of them over there who got hair just like yours is. I don't even care if what you got on your head's not real. You can't find 3 of them got their head adorned like yours. You changed yours to what you fantasized they were like. You got over there and found out they ain't even like that. And it goes even deeper. I'm very glad you gave me a call to talk about the black folk from America who go out to the diaspora, because there was something else that we found when we went to Nigeria, when we went to Ghana, when we went to Kenya, when we went to Ethiopia. There was something else that we found. You see, an African could come to America and marry one of us. You go over there and there's the real issue. You can go over there and you might be able to marry one of them. They come over here and tell their folk not to marry you. Now, there's a difference. You don't have any of us telling our children, don't marry them Africans now. Don't bring them in the family. You go amongst them, either here or over there, and they put the word on you. You shouldn't fool one of them American Negroes now. Don't do that. They want their kids to get married, but they only want to marry another Nigerian. But they definitely tell them, okay, if you can't marry somebody in the tribe, marry another Nigerian. And if you can't do that, get an African. But damn sure don't get an American black. Now, that's something that never gets stated by us. That's not a part of our culture. That's not part of our teaching. Those are words that never passed our lips. But we started noticing, hey, who's kicking all this dirt on our names? So much for pan-africanism. You never had any of us discouraging our sons and daughters from marrying one of them, or from Jamaica, or the Caribbean. That's the conflict that you were referring to earlier. Yeah, that's that conflict. Yeah, it damn sure is. It sure is a conflict. Yes, ma'am. When folks treat us like that, yeah, it's conflict all day. Beef all day.
And I can understand that. And I've confronted that as well. But aside from the relationship things and everything, don't marry African Americans or whatever, I also want to address what you said about going into Nigerian rooms and they're not talking, they're not, they're doing what they're doing. But there are voices here in Nigeria that are speaking up, that are trying to, fight for their rights and, assert their self-determination, but they're getting arrested. Some of them are being unalive.
So are we.
So I just wanted to
So are we, ma'am. So are we. What's your point? So are we.
Yes. Well, it's the perspective that you're projecting is that there are no people that are standing up for their rights here. And I didn't say that. I didn't say that,
ma'am. I did not say that. I did not say that. However, what I am saying is that you can name one over here and one way over there, not as a group. And certainly not as a movement. Now, what you're telling me is, well, yes, but Jason, they meet in opposition. Baby, we meet in opposition every damn where. You ain't said nothing. We meet in opposition everywhere. This idea that they meet in some special opposition that we ain't. What the hell we talking about here? White supremacy is global. Guess what? We're the only ones calling it global. Everybody else is sitting over there, like you said, trying to grab a passport and pretending it ain't. The fact that folks are threatening your life, that's all the damn more reason for you to stand 10 toes down. We've been on that. We've been on that. Here's the real problem with what you just said, ma'am. By the way, it don't even take that damn much from them. That's the issue. You're going to extreme examples. That is not speaking for the typical experience of a Nigerian. That's not their typical experience. Nobody has to sit up here and threaten them to go chase Zaddy and all that stuff. They're doing that happily on their own. So you can cherry pick a few extreme examples, but that's not the culture. That's not what the typical experience is. It's not. It isn't. But furthermore, what you just said is all the more damn reason that they need to be hooking up with us in the first place to begin with. That's all the more reason. I agree. But what you're saying is that there's one over here and ain't nobody really fooling with him. Ain't anybody really listening to him. There's one way over there out there in Lagos somewhere, but ain't nobody really fooling with him neither. So even in their own country, they're treated as outliers. So I'm not downing them for their efforts. What I'm saying is, can we acknowledge, the people ain't rocking with what they're saying. There might be some fellas out there who might be, or women who might be saying it, but the people as a group ain't rocking with them. Let's just call it what it is. Yeah, they talking, but just like when you talking, they ain't really fooling with that. Now, I did not say it doesn't need to be done, but let's acknowledge what the situation actually is so that we can set proper expectations. And let's not call it something it ain't. The people heard what y'all saying. They still dreaming of white Jesus and the passport to white America. They look at Candace Owens as a goddess, and you know it. I would like to get on TV and have my white husband, and we go to Britain. You know damn well, baby. You know full well you could have damn me female UFC rumble in the streets if you was handing out a white man a marriage certificate for a white man in America. You know damn well them hoes would be chunking on each other. Did he say house? I damn sure did.
And deal with it, nigga.
You know full well if you was handing out marriage certificates, I got marriage certificates for 5 white men. Let the rumble begin. It's the Royal Rumble out there in the streets. It's chairs flying. It's fists and feet going. It's koofies and head wraps flying all over the place. And you know it. They swinging tree branches. They throwing shoes at each other. It's on and popping. And you know it. I'm not even joking. You know that. They would leave school. They would walk out of college and be like, here, getting them. I'll punch another heifer in the eye. So much for Nigerian unity. You have my permission to laugh, ma'am. By the way, you can laugh at that. You have my permission to laugh, y'all. She is holding it back so damn bad, baby. You about to get a hernia. I don't want that to happen to you. That would be terrible.
Can I ask you one question?
Yes, ma'am. Then I gotta move on.
Do you think that pan-Africanism, as Marcus Garvey taught it, and true Black unity is possible worldwide between all of us?
According to Einstein's theory of special relativity, my answer would have to be yes. Well, there's a lot of things that are possible. You could also throw a ball into the air and it doesn't come back down. Special relativity allows for that too, by the way. However, as is currently going right now, it's not practical. So yes, it is possible, but not practical. Because in order to have unity, you have to have partners who are equally invested in the interests of the other members of the group. Not partners who are all looking to take advantage of one member. That's not unity, that's predatory. And we're saying, hey, that passport thing you were talking about and get your green cards and stuff, that's that predatory behavior we're referring to. Because they're not even talking about coming over here and working with us. They talking about coming over here and working with white society. Before they ever even came here, they've already got in their heads, I need to work with white folk against them Negroes over there. That's what has to stop. And the folk you talking about, there's some folks speaking about that. Yeah, their message is not popular. There's folks saying it. I didn't say that there weren't. They're not popular. Now, that does not alleviate them of their responsibility to spread the sermon of freedom. Just because what you're saying is not popular does not alleviate you of your responsibility to do that, because we've been talking about this, and what we say is not popular, we're still here doing it year after year, decade after decade. So the fact that it's not popular does not alleviate you of your responsibility. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Scrumptious skin tone, by the way. She has a scrumptious skin tone, by the way. She is too good to be sitting over there. All right, let me go ahead and see if I can get Daryl here. I'm going to try to get through these quick as I can here. Daryl, go ahead and load up. Daryl, go ahead and load up here. Waiting on Daryl on Zoom. Daryl, you got us waiting here on Zoom, brother. I need you to go ahead and cam up for me here. Make sure we don't have any trolling issues. Don't worry, nobody else will see you except for me. But Daryl, I need to go ahead and make sure we don't have any issues here. I can give you 5 seconds, and then I got to go ahead and move on. Okay, Daryl, we got you here on Zoom. What's on your mind, brother?
Hey, good evening, Jason. Thank you for having me on tonight. I appreciate that. You hit the nail right on the head in everything you said tonight. When you start calling it, we have to keep it on code. I'm gonna say it just like that. I talk to my nephews about that all the time, and they understand what's been said. You reached out to a lot of the young cats, and you've got them on board, and now they listening. They listening, and they listening hard. Young men and young ladies, both. And want to thank you for that. First off, and the second part is that sometimes it's not sometimes, majority of these times the people from other countries, they don't understand. They don't want to understand. They look at us, we're the trendsetters. We always have been, we always will be. So I'm very, very thankful for that. At the same time, the benchmarks have been set by us for so high. It's unbelievable. We've been fighting white supremacy, and we're going to continue on doing it until we see that it's out the way. And
well, hopefully that's the example we set for other folk, but it's not going to be easy. We didn't say it was going to be easy. We said it's going to be necessary. No. I didn't say it was going to be easy. It's your job to do. We did it here. We're not going to open up a space for folk to undermine us. We was opening up a space for folk to collaborate, not with us, not to collaborate with the other folks. So we just need to make it clear to them. Thank you very much for giving this call tonight, brother. Let me go ahead and get Ian up here on Zoom. Let me get Ian on Zoom. Ian, waiting for Ian here on Zoom. Ian, looking for you here on Zoom. Ian, I can give you 5 seconds, and then we're going to have to move on. I got Ian here on Zoom. Not going to be able to wait around all night, Ian, so I can give you 5 more seconds here, and then we got to move on. All right, Ian, I can give you 2 more seconds, then we got to move on. All right, Ian is taking the night off here. Let's go ahead and see if we can get Riri here on Zoom. Let me get Riri up here. All right, there you go. We got Riri on Zoom. What's on your mind, Riri?
Hi, Jason. How are you? I just wanted to talk about the Jamaican caller it was the male who called up previously to the last lady. The talks that he's saying about how Jamaicans are speaking on collaborating and trying to do better, it's a false narrative. I myself, my parents are from the Caribbean. I've been in rooms with Jamaicans. For the past few weeks or months, the talk that Jamaicans have been going on about is going to Vybz Kartel's concert. Whenever there's Usain Bolt or Shelly Ann running, Jamaicans are loud about that. When there's a versus with Beanie Man versus Bounty Killer, Jamaicans are loud about that. That reverberates. But whenever there's supposed to be these talks about coming together and actually collaborating and doing something for the Black class, that's nowhere to be found. So all this talk about how patois, you can't even decipher what is said, there's none of these talks. Jamaicans make it their agenda to be proud of certain things and to be hush about other things.
Yeah.
And
it's the culture thing. That's right there. I mean, we have to be honest about, okay, what are the priorities within it? Because you can't fix it if you won't face that. I don't say it because it's anecdotal. I mean, there's a reason why you find a lot of Jamaicans down there in Florida. It's not just because of its proximity to the Caribbean. It's not just that. It's because, by the way, hey, they do a bunch. Florida is basically a giant, amusement park state. It's a giant resort state. They acclimate to that very simply. You see a bunch of them down there on the beachfront and whatnot. There's a bunch of them on Bayside. They acclimate to that. I'm like, okay, everything can't be partying and bull jiving. Everything can't be coping mechanisms. What we building? And if that was the attitude and stuff, they wouldn't even be having to come here. It's like, dude, you out the damn way. The white folk in Carnival have no problem building in Jamaica. They're able to do it just fine. What are we doing here? And forget that. Okay, you know what? I'm going to say something a little bit more daring. And if you've been to Jamaica, you're going to understand what I'm saying next year. Let's leave Carnival and Norwegian and whatnot and Princess where they at. Let's just leave their ports exactly where they are. Now, you can't get more accommodating than what I'm about to say. Leave them where they are. Shouldn't the black folk own the hotels on the beach then? All right, the cruise ships can show up. We own the hotels and all the shops on the beach, and all the white tourists can come by from us when they get off. That ain't happening. That's not happening in Jamaica.
It's funny enough you said that. I was there about 5 years ago. We took a plane to Montego Bay and we drove all the way to Ocho Rios. And we were talking to the tour guide and we were like, wow, look at all these new hotels that are being erected and all these places. And we were asking him, like, who owns these? And he just kind of looked at me and just laughed. And then he just looked the other way. And I said, oh, okay, so there's a real problem that's happening here. And even with the limestone, I think he said Jamaica is probably 80% limestone, and that's a mineral used in toothpaste. I was like, okay, so how is the government utilizing that, taking it and putting it back into the black class? And he just once again looked at me and just laughed. So there's a real problem. I have Jamaican friends. I have tried to have these talks about this. There's this clinging on to wanting to talk about the culture and Bob Marley and cuisine and all these new artists. But you can't have all that pride in that if you're not going to take pride in the ground that you come from. And if Jamaicans I know, they purport themselves to be the leaders of the Caribbean, you got to start acting like it. Otherwise, you can't talk about all these other things, but then run away and not have any type of of love and any type of pride in where you come from, especially when your ancestors are the ones who cleared brush for all these other new people to come in and now make money off of your land.
There's no reason that every single Jamaican should not be rich. It should be like Dubai. They should be charging all these other folk to be there. I'm not a big proponent of giving away land, for example. So when you talk about limestone, that's one of the key ingredients for making concrete. Concrete is actually kind of difficult to make if you want to make the construction type of concrete that we use worldwide. But if you have limestone, that's a critical ingredient in it. You got to give away your land for it and stuff. But by the way, if you got access to it, that's another thing. Are they using it for that? There's no reason that every Jamaican shouldn't be getting a check every month like Alaskans do or whatever, just simply off tourism and being in the resort. But you got to value that. You have to value that and say, hey, this belongs to us. This is ours, and we value this, and we're not going to let nobody screw us out of this. And as far as things being tough, hey, that's the way it's going to be. Here in America, that's what we had to put up with. We got hella martyrs here. Still do. Iran, Mohammed Mossadegh, when he nationalized the oil wells and then they killed him, there will be martyrs. Every freedom movement going to have that. So when you got folks sitting up here, they have no problem shooting somebody at the club if you grip his woman's butt cheeks. But the damn government over here ain't, the white folk come over here and say, well, we can't do nothing about that. Okay, now that's a mindset. That's not a military issue. That's a mindset issue. That's what that is. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me go ahead and see if I can get Carrie Big Speak Soft. Okay, Carrie Big Speak Soft. Okay, Carrie don't look like okay, this is not who I thought Carrie was going to be. All right, Carrie, you are on.
Yeah, I just wanted to speak about the Jamaican guy. It's like, and the woman, she kept trying to switch it over to what Black Americans are doing and stuff like that. It's like, speak on your people first before you keep trying to make it seem like we're having the same issues. She already abandoned her heritage because someone made her feel bad about something. But then she's trying to speak on Black Americans. Black Americans have stood together through thick and thin. There are history and history books, and it's written that when Black slaves were freed, men walked through the states looking for their wives and their families. The Jamaicans have not had the same fight. The Haitians are probably the only ones who have a similar fight when they fought for their freedom. After they fought for their freedom, they still tried to make it seem like they wanted to be good with white people. And we saw what happened to Jean-Baptiste when he traveled the seas. And so my point is that don't come over here trying to make it seem like, oh, Black people got problems, Black Americans got problems too. Take care of your home first. You come here, you make all that money, you make your little mini mansions back in Africa, whatever country in Africa you're in. You make your little mini mansions back in Jamaica, whatever that is. And it's no different than, as you say, don't trust them old niggas. Well, don't trust them tether Jamaicans. Don't trust them tether Africans that make their own, say, I'm good, fuck everybody else. I'm good. I made my American money. I'm good, fuck everybody else. They had their mini mansions and they shit on everybody when they go back home. This is what they do. Stop trying to look at us and try to point, throw stones at our houses. Y'all are not taking care of home. Y'all come here, y'all get rich. Y'all beg, as you said, you see it. These African, these Jamaican, these whatever are getting trains ran on them by these white boys through college when they getting these college visas. They getting trains. They be so happy to have a mulatto baby. They be so happy. They go back. I mean, look, stop trying to talk about what Black Americans are doing. We standing 10 toes down. We are the most stuck together with our families. Black men are faithful to our women and the marriage rates. And we, of course, we have our problems. But no different than when Michael B. Jordan tried to make a wine and Nicki Minaj with her tether ass talking about
now there's the point. That's the point right there. Everything else you said, that's nice, that's a good preface, but the root of the issue is what you just came to there. There is no movement by us here in the States to travel to the Caribbean to undermine Jamaicans in the Caribbean. There is no movement by us in the States to go to Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Barbados, Bahamas, Nigeria, Kenya. We ain't going over there to work with the white society over there to destabilize those people and undermine them on their soil. Brothers and sisters, that's the point. There is no movement by us to get a passport or to get citizenship in Ghana to undermine the Africans in Ghana. There's not a single one of us doing that. There's plenty of Ghanaians sitting up there hitting us up for change when we get off the plane, but we're not going where they are to undermine them on their soil. But there is a long-standing movement from them to come over here and collaborate with the dominant society to undermine specifically us on our soil. They're not targeting the Asians. They're not targeting the Arabs. They're coming over here helping them to target us. Folk with the same skin color as them, they targeted us. So that's the real point. Everything else you said is nice. It's a nice preface. But the root of it is that part right there. There is no movement to undermine them from us. None of us are trying to figure out the spots in Africa to go to so we can dispossess them and take what they got from up under them, or help the dominant society to move them out the way so we can get a better job. There is no such movement from us. That's the difference.
Yeah, and back like with the Nicki Minaj and Michael B. Jordan. Nicki Minaj literally told Michael B. Jordan, "Don't use that name for your alcohol. That's a Caribbean thing." We have accepted them. We have allowed them to come through here. They get mad at us when we don't accept their piss poor artists and stuff. I mean, look what Akon did. He made so many songs about weed. And then he got on these interviews talking about, I don't smoke weed, but I'm smart. I'm not like these Americans. Like, this is just what they do. They have a history of this. They have a history. And then he sold out he sold out the country just for electrical system. So I mean, look.
Okay, let's say it straight. Then he's a scammer.
What? Yes.
Akon City is a damn scam. I'm like, okay, another Nigerian scam. All hands up. We didn't see that coming. Did you really think he was building the city? Some niggas bought into that. Did you really think Mr. I Want to Love You it was building the city? Did you really think that was convict music? You thought he made that much off of music? He's going to build the city, another scam. So yet another difference we can point out between us and them to begin with. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me go ahead and see if I can get Sharice up here on Zoom. Let me go ahead and grab Sharice up here on Zoom. Let me get Sharice up here. Waiting on Sharice on Zoom. There you go, Sharice. All right. And what's on your mind, sister?
It's been a great conversation. I have been listening since you started.
Why do you look like Poetic Justice? Why do you look like that, Sharice? It's Saturday night. Why does she look like Poetic Justice?
Because we are Poetic Justice,
clearly.
My brother. Let me say this, because I've had so many thoughts from all the conversations, especially the two Jamaican, the brother and the sister that you were talking to. I want to say this. One thing, and I hope they're still listening. One thing that foundational Black Americans have really come to in ourselves is that the dominant society, for the most part, understands that we're the wind beneath their wings. They really want to be us. But the problem with you tethers is y'all run over here thinking you want to be them when they really want to be us, the FBAs. And then you try to find fault with the foundation of this country, who we built this house, okay? You find fault with us while you're trying to connect. It's so sick and twisted with the enemy who don't like you. And then when they eat you, you want us to defend you. So you really got to face yourself. What I heard with the sister, the Jamaican sister, and with that Jamaican brother is dishonesty. They refuse to be honest with themselves so that they can get through their own BS. And so that's why they can't see the way we see. And the reality is we have a whole lineage. We have a whole history. We have ancestors of power and making a difference. And we come from that. So no, you're not like us, but you can be like us if you study us and face yourself and stop trying to find fault with those of us who are the Christ energy on the damn planet. And I will leave it with that, Brother Jason.
I appreciate that, sister. Thank you very much for checking in with us tonight. We appreciate that from you as always. Let me go ahead and see if I can get Better Believes Me. Let me go ahead and see if I can get Better Believes Me here. Let me see if I can get Better Believes Me up on here. All right, Better Believes Me. What's on your mind? I'm waiting for the audio to connect. Let me get that going here first. All right, there you go. All right, Better Believes Me. What's on your mind?
Hey,
Okay,
how you doing?
Speakers on.
Yeah, let me mute my TV. I would just like to say, from hearing the conversation earlier with the Jamaican brother, the Jamaican sister, I feel like their grievance is really with like, you know, how, you know, I grew up here. I'm first generation American. My parents are from Belize. I feel like their grievance really is with like, you know how Americans like the Joneses, you know, we got jokes and, you know, we get on them or whatever. And, you know, like it's not that serious. But
yeah, but when you're groping for some sort of excuse there, that goes even deeper now. It's like it goes beyond just, well, we're doing something different or whatever. You're grasping at straws to find something that you can say to defend this foolery y'all doing over here. There's the real issue, bro. That's the best you, even if what he was saying was accurate, which it wasn't. I proved it wasn't. But even if it was, dude, that's the best you got?
Right. I mean, look, as a first generation American, I was born in 75 here in Brooklyn, New York, right? And my parents are from Belize. I would say this, that I can understand their gripe, but for them to take it that seriously and to go, like, they have serious problems in Jamaica. Like, I know Jamaican history. I know about Michael Manley and Edward Siaga and how those two European white men have caused havoc in Jamaica, like literally paid gangs to go out and kill people to intimidate their vote, to control the country, ruin the country. You understand me? And so, like, you need to take a look at what's going on in your own country before you come over here and talk about, like, what's going on over here. Like, you really need, like you said earlier, brother, they really need to talk to their neighbors first. It costs nothing to talk to their neighbors first about what's going on in their own country.
Well, that takes courage, like I said. First, all this trying to deny reality to save your ego and stuff, you're not fixing the situation. You're watching it deteriorate even further. There's no shame in acknowledging the obvious, but these coping mechanisms so we can keep the foolery and nonsense going on, that's the problem. And like I said, it would be different like if they were like Dubai. I mean, I would see it a little bit differently. Okay, they selling us out, but damn, they balling as a result. You selling us out, and it's not like y'all balling out as a result of it. You selling us out for free.
And your economy is going down. It's going down. I would say this, right? I called in because I'm trying to get an understanding of exactly what a tether is. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be honest with you.
A tether is an immigrant coon. That is the definition of a tether, is an immigrant coon, period. So we know our name for the domestic homegrown coons. A tether is a coon who came from abroad over here.
Okay. And I will say this, right? As a first generation American, I identify as an American Black man first, right? And I would also say, as my parents being from Belize, that I feel that my parents were highly indoctrinated into, Belize was once called British Honduras.
There you go.
Right? They were highly indoctrinated to the British mindset. They praised the Queen. When the Queen came to Belize, they had parades up and down the street, and they loved it. To this day, the Queen Elizabeth is on their money, on their currency. So it is like how you say, them old niggas.
Yeah, that was the point I was making there before, is that when once
to
y'all
other
spend enough
countries
time
as well.
around us, we get that out of y'all. You get straight, you get the game in you straight, and that gets out of y'all. That's why I was saying they have to bring in a fresh crop. They got to find some mo folk like your parents, whatever, bring in a fresh crop that hasn't been straightened out and hasn't been debriefed. They got to get some. That's why they're always busting down the borders to bring in a bunch of new illegals or something like that. Folks who have been indoctrinated and been inculcated, not ones who have been among us and been properly, advised and clarified and debriefed on what the situation is. So that's the reason for it. So as far as they're concerned, your bloodline is now a loss. They're a loss because of you. So your parents were dependable. As far as they're concerned, made it to the second or third generation. It's a loss. We better bring in some other folk to replace Better Believes Me, because his bloodline is no longer dependable. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me see if I can get SOS here on Zoom. Let me go ahead and get SOS here on Zoom. Waiting for SOS to get his audio connected there. Waiting for that to show up here. He's almost got it, I think. He's got his camera on with his audio is fighting him. There it goes. All right, SOS, what's on your mind?
Good evening, Jason. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
First, I love the conversation. Are you hearing me clearly, Jason?
Yeah, I hear you. I don't know if you have an echo or something, but we hear you just fine. So go ahead and speak, sir.
Well, first, I love the conversation you are hosting. And only through speaking can we relate to each other and really find out the problem and the root to our problem as a people. But listening to previous callers, I hear each of the callers, they explain and state different part of the problems that we are having as a people, especially as a Jamaican, because I am a Jamaican. And I don't know, it keeps playing over and over in my head. I'm hearing it's Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir. We hear you just fine, brother. For the third time, I'm not sure what's going on your end, but we hear you just fine.
I have to check with something because it's interrupting my flow of the conversation.
Okay, well, I'm not sure what's going on there, brother, but like I say, hopefully Kingston Broadband will get that straightened out for you all. Let me go ahead and see if I can get Black Powder here on Zoom. Let me go ahead and grab Black Powder right quick. All right, let's get Black Powder up here on Zoom. Waiting for that to come through for us here. All right, Black Power Pop has. Go ahead and turn your speakers off, sir.
Yes, sir. Sorry about that. That's my phone. Should be taken care of now.
All right, what's on your mind?
I'll make it quick. I had to write down the points I wanted to say. Thank you for your time on this broadcast. But to address I got about four, but to address the first callers that were from Jamaica, the language doesn't necessarily mean that the idiocy and the ignorance is acceptable. You definitely need to go back and do your research, especially if you're going to move over here. Because if you don't understand the culture, they're definitely going to do what they're doing now and take advantage of you and utilize you as a tool. And we all know at the end of the day, those tools are going to get broken. Same thing with the first caller. It goes back to subterfuge. Subterfuge is the other reason why you need to take care of the tethered class that comes from other countries and comes over here, because yes, they're going to lie on FBA and people who are Black first, but they're also going to send back false information and continue to tell where the people where they came from that America's no good, we're better than the Black people there, we can do better. Well, at the same time, they're only escalating themselves and making themselves look good while sacrificing the people that like the third caller said, have dreams to come over here into America. The unfortunate thing about dreams is that, number one, everybody doesn't have the same fabrication of dreams. And number two, dreams are nice, but whenever reality hits, you're going to have to deal with it. And last point is, to quote one of my, I hate the movie, the book is boring, but I love this quote. To come over here and act ignorant is basically along the same lines of forgetting the face of your father. And I don't think any of our fathers that have dealt with things like this in the past would find any of this acceptable.
Well, that's the whole reason to have a situation like this. I said for 20 years in Black society, I said we have to have a civil war amongst ourselves here to clear out the riffraff and to get things straightened out. Ain't no other way gonna work. The folks from the diaspora have to do the same thing. Jamaica has to have a reckoning. Turks and Caicos, Barbados, the Caribbean, they got to have a reckoning. They're going to have to be honest about those things. Maybe Carnival's not such a great thing. Maybe some of this other stuff's not such a great thing. Maybe it has taken you off your square. Maybe there's a different design. Maybe this was something that was fed to you by somebody else. Or maybe it's a bad habit you got a hold of. Maybe there's a better way to do this. But if you are unwilling to even have that conversation because you are so emotionally invested and so prideful about it, then it doesn't fix anything. Because we're not here to sit here and help folk maintain a failed situation. We got to straighten that out, because the only thing they can do is eat off somebody else and parasite off of them, and we already dealing with enough. We're already dealing with enough. So it is very, 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 very imperative that everybody in the diaspora understand that this is a teaching moment. But you've got to accept what the reality actually is. This idea that everything's great going on over there and you here to bring your greatness here. It's like, no, that's not what's going on. That's not what's going on. If it was, you just stay where you at. Damn it, if it's great, damn it, it's great there. It's not. And we just don't want folks spreading the dysfunction around. So when folk come over here and they ride us, that's what we need. Exactly. We need riders coming over here. We don't need parasites coming over here. We don't need the Zaddy crew coming over here. We don't need the don't deal with them niggas folk coming over here. That's what we don't need. All we're doing is finally acknowledging the division that was already there. We're just finally acknowledging the damn elephant in the room. Shout out Lord Jamar.
Right. And also got to bring this point up too, because I know it's just how it is, but it always baffles me that you've got so many classes that are saying that, FBA is over here in America. You're not going to get reparations. You're not going to get this. But at the end of the day, reparations in America is the largest catalytic domino that we need in order for the other cultures to be able to go back and say, hey, look, over in America, they get what they were owed. We want our debt paid too. Why won't you do that? But instead of letting that domino fall, they keep pushing it up.
Well, it's slightly different though, brother. What has happened is we set the trend, and because they're emotionally invested against it, what they then turn around and do is that once we make traction, they then start trying to figure out how can they kick that off for themselves without us getting anything. So then it would become a separate conversation by itself. And what you're saying is that, okay, if it was part of a larger conversation, that would make it a hell of a lot easier for them. They're trying to figure out, well, how they're still playing the game of how do we get benefits for ourselves as individuals. And now you guys can help us get them benefits as individuals, but we don't want to do it if it's going to help you in that regard. There's where the schism keeps coming in. Everybody's okay with them getting individual benefits. So when we losing as a group. But when we win, you're individuals.
Right. It just seems like it's something that could lead to like a further, I guess, for lack of a better description, further Stockholm syndrome. Because
brother,
you're
not gonna get no reparations in the Caribbean unless we make that shake down first. You have no leverage. You don't have the cultural cachet for it. All you need is Prince Harry to show up, and there's gonna be a bunch of black chicks in the Caribbean shaking their asses and talking about we don't need no reparations. And that now I'm telling the damn truth. He'll show up with Meghan Markle, and that's gonna be the end of that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, though, it takes one big person. Look at Haiti. You had Barbecue over there. He said enough is enough, and he did something. But not everybody is going to have that same mentality. And I'm not sitting here saying that what he did was right or wrong. I'm just using that as like an example. Like this dude said enough is enough. We're tired of being used. Somebody's got to stand up. And now Haiti's under It's under his rule right now, and they're trying to send African soldiers over there. They're coming back after getting their ass kicked because they're looking at the bigger picture. Like, do I really want to go over to another country where I have no ties and no family, or do I want to go back home and not have to worry about dying in another country? So like you said, you got to stand up.
Haiti needs to be left alone, which of course they're not going to do, but Haiti needs to be left alone. The Haitians have to make sure the folk leave that alone. Here's the other thing here, brother. The reason why we also have this conversation is understand, people, peace is messy. What? Organizing a disorganized situation is messy. This idea that we're going to have there's going to be a Merry Maids revolution, that ain't the way it works, people. This conversation that we're having, these things getting folks straightened out can be messy. Mm-hmm. It can be messy. Okay, that's the adult world. We accept that, okay, that's just reality. Sometimes things are going to get messy. This idea that you're going to have some sanitized thing and we're going to start out clean. Well, we don't have anything to clean up if that's the case. This is a big ass mess. Cleaning up messes gets messy. Difficult conversations are messy. Acknowledging painful and difficult truths is messy. Yep. It is. And you know what? That's okay. What is not okay is you sitting in the middle of the filth and being okay with it. Now, that's what's not all right. It's okay to be in a mess and clean yourself off. It's not okay to be in a mess and tell me we're in a rose garden. No, we're not. This is a mess. And it's getting worse.
It's not even a rose garden because, I mean, I know I'm taking up a lot of time. I'm sorry, but it's basically like you're a bullshit farmer and nobody brought any seed. And you think something's going to grow from that.
And you're telling everybody else here, just don't worry about it. Everything's great. Everything's wonderful. It's like, okay, we're just not, we're done playing. We're done playing along like everything's okay. No, it's not. And if we got to have a falling out with you to get you to understand that we're not going to play along anymore, then we're going to have this falling out. But we're just not going to pretend that the status quo is okay anymore or that we haven't been seeing what you're doing. Because I'm just letting y'all know right now that one thing alone, and I've got many Nigerians I know, y'all know that for a fact, but I mean, they will tell you. They will tell you. It's like, yeah, that's the get down. We go over there to Africa, you looking for a traditional African wife, traditional African husband, they coming over here and telling their kids, don't fool with you. Now, think about that for a few moments. You have no problem mixing with them. They sitting over here treating you like the white supremacists. And they're telling their kids, no, don't mix with you. Brother, we can't have unity. If that's your real attitude, I'm not telling you got to change it. What I am saying is I'm not going to play along with you anymore. Okay, if that's what it is, then let it be what it's going to be. Let it be known. Let it be what it's going to be. And now we're going to make some adjustments. But don't come back talking crazy when I make some adjustments too. Now that we know we have a clear understanding of where you at and where you coming from with it, okay, let it be that. You want it to be that? It's like, hey, let me get this little block over here for you by yourselves. And by the way, it's just you and Zaddy. Mm-hmm. I love Zaddy. Okay, well, Mr. Trump will be here in just a minute. So keep that energy because he's going to be here in just a minute. Oh, wait a minute. We are in this together. No, you in this with Trump. I'll let you have the last word.
I'm sorry, brother.
I'll let you have the last word.
They really going to worry when Trump show up in the Cybertruck, just one Cybertruck parked out front, But it's like you posted on your social media, si vis pacem per bellum. And at the end of the day, brother, keep doing what you do. These broadcasts are strong. I'm looking forward to seeing more of them in 2025. Please bring 8 a.m. to Atlanta because I will definitely do my best to be there and keep lining them up and knocking them down, brother.
Have an announcement about that coming. Keep your eyes and your ears open. Thank you very much, brothers and sisters. Patience, please. I know you're hungry. By the way, Trump is not going to be showing up with a cyber truck. Y'all know him. He drives a garbage truck. Damn! Y'all know Trump. He drives a garbage truck. He won't even have a trash. He won't even have a cyber truck. He's going to pull up in the straight garbage truck. It's Trump sanitation. I'm picking you up whether you like it or not. He's like, yeah, damn a paddy wagon. How about the whole garbage truck? I got plenty of room for y'all. Get in the back of this damn thing. Load them up. Y'all saw him. Okay, I got Tyron here on Zoom. Tyron, I just need you to go ahead and unmute yourself and turn your camera for me here. And then we'll be ready to go ahead and get that started. All right, Tyron, what's on your mind?
This is Tyron Leung from Charlotte, North Carolina. And what's on my mind is since we're delineating from these groups, what is the next step? Are we going to be aboriginals, or are we still holding on to pan-Africanism? Because it seems like the new black media is at a crossroads between having their foot into the aboriginal paradigm or this pan-African.
Okay,
thing,
tell me who you think is repping pan-Africanism in the new black media. Who do you think is doing that?
Because from what I'm seeing is Tariq Nasheed wasn't always on this paradigm.
Okay, sir. Okay, where we at today, sir? No, we don't need a history lesson. You're talking about where we at today. So tell me who is doing it today, sir.
So from what I had a conversation with him on his platform, and he tried to clown me off of there.
Okay, sir, I'm going to try this one last time, and then I'm going to move on. You made a statement. I asked you to substantiate the statement. All you're doing is babbling on further. I will ask you one final time, and then I'm going to move on. Who is currently repping pan-Africanism in the new black media? Just name the name. I don't want to hear a story. Name the name of the person who is today currently repping pan-Africanism in the new black media. Go.
Gotcha. The Black Authority, Bucci Bear, Brandon, all types of people.
Okay, I'm the Black Authority. So where's the pan-Africanism that I'm repping, sir?
Oh, so you rep black heroes such as John Henry Clark. He's a pan-Africanist.
Okay, sir. The question was, am I a pan-Africanist? Sir, we asked, am I a pan-Africanist?
I have no idea, bro. Because you're at a crossroads.
Here's what I want you to do. Get off the drugs. Get some therapy.
Drugs, bro. I'm asking.
Get off the drugs. Get some therapy. I need some niggas call up and stuff. They own drugs. They own therapy. Yes, I knew if he's calling other places getting kicked off, he's going to happen here. Get off the drugs. Get on some therapy. You know, take your Ritalin. Don't just stare at the Zoloft bottle. You're going to have to actually take some. You got to do that. So try that one instead. I make up my own reality. It's niggas walk around daydreaming and say, I see pan-Africanists. Name them. I don't know any. You won. This is what happens when your mama got off the pipe late. You know, there's them chicks who didn't get off the pipe till the late 90s. What? And then they made it all the way to the late 90s. They were still hitting the pipe, and it's just the kids are walking around out here looking all crazy and weird and saying crazy stuff. And she couldn't get off the pipe in the early 90s. She hung in there till like the early 2000s. It was after 9/11. The kids out here, they're calling us up. They're talking crazies. Yeah, Bucci Bear is the new black media. I'm just talking about, that's what I meant right there. Did you hear how that conversation just went total off the train tracks? As soon as he said that, I'm like, okay, you gone. It's Bucci Bear. Okay, what YouTube what program is Bucci Bear hosting? What is going on? This is your brain on drugs. Let me go ahead and jump back over here and get Lee. We're going to go ahead and grab Lee over here on Zoom. Y'all think what I do is easy. You all think what I do is easy. You hear stuff like that right there. Does this seem easy to you? Does this seem easy to you? Okay, let me go ahead and I got Lee on Zoom. Lee, I'm going to give you 5 seconds to turn a light on for me there. And then we're going to have to go ahead and move on. So, Lee, I can give you 5 seconds to go ahead and do that. If we can't get that done, I got to go ahead and move on, Lee. I can give you 2 seconds, Lee, to get a light on for me. If I can't get a light on, Lee, permanent vacation. All right, Lee is going to be taking a permanent vacation here. So, yeah, folks, I understand. You get upset, you get mad. It's just, I'm going to call up and troll. And Jason doesn't make trolling easy. So, I'm mad. I'm upset. Yes, Rhonda. He said Bucci Bear is new black media. He literally said that. So I'm just saying, folks think I'm mean when I say that, when I say get off the drugs. No, only a nigga on the pipe or the spoon or the needle on some pills. A regular nigga ain't gonna talk like that. A sober nigga is not gonna talk that way. So, yeah. You not sitting up here and everything's straight and then you talking like that. No, for folks who are not on the narcotic, folks who are not taking something, slipping something, sipping something, no, they don't do that. They sit up here and they pouring they lean. They be pouring they lean and good. Let me call him up. You and Bucci Bear and Winnie the Pooh, the members of New Black Media here is Wile E. Coyote. Chuck E. Cheese. All y'all New Black Media people, nigga, did you say Chuck E. Cheese? And you know is seen him there. He wear red, black, and green. Brother, I don't think Chuck E. Cheese is a pan-Africanist. I really don't think he is. He wear red, black, and green. What you mean he ain't a pan-Africanist? He wear red, black, and green. So there's a reason why we have to tamp down on the conversations. We really got to do that. We really have to make sure it stays straight. You just let anybody come on in and it becomes that, which y'all just heard, it becomes that right there. If we let it, so. Yeah. Next time y'all hear Bucci Bear is a Pan-Africanist. No, Bucci Bear is not just a Pan-Africanist. Bucci Bear is a member of the New Black Media and is a Pan-Africanist. What? Nigga, please. No, Bucci Bear is a Pan-Africanist and a member of the New Black Media. Both. This is like, damn me, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Cartoons come to life, you know. You sitting up here fighting with a damn cartoon bear. Man, I ought to freak y'all out one of these days. Y'all turn on this damn thing and greetings, brothers and sisters. This is Chuck E. Cheese. Folks gonna be like, what the hell? This is Chuck E. Cheese, your Pan-African pizza mouse. Greetings, brothers and sisters. Watch, his dumb ass will call back in. I told you. Y'all didn't believe me. I told you. Y'all thought Alex Jones was the craziest bastard out there. You thought Alex Jones was as bad as it could get. Wait till you hear some of the stuff we got going on out there. You thought Alex Jones was introducing the craziest stuff you ever heard. Okay. Listen, folks, kinfolk used to be on the pipe, get a hold of a microphone. Brothers and sisters from around the world, riders needed. We need some riders now, wherever you at. Everybody on all hands on deck. My chat room is falling out laughing. All hands on deck. We need riders all over. You cannot sit up here and say, oh, people are not accepting me and folk got an issue with that. That's not going to fly. You got to rep the set. If you're not willing to stand up to the 10 folk in front of you, how you going to stand up to 200 million? How you going to do that? Riders needed. No excuses. But by the way, if you scared, just say you scared. If you weak, just go ahead and say you weak. If you ain't about that life, don't be about that life. But you're not going to jump over here with us when you need protection and then sit up here and say you a free agent when you think the smoke is cleared. You're not going to tell us that you're a free agent and then all of a sudden when the smoke clears, okay, I'm taking care of me. I'm taking care of me. What we're saying is that day is over. And this practice of we just going to take everybody in even if they undermine us, no. You want to know what the crazy part is? We believe in the greatness of Jamaica more than Jamaica does. Damn! We've had to teach the history. We've had to sing the song. We had to talk about that. We believe in it more than they do, more than the Caribbean does. We're the ones telling them, hey, dude, you got to regroup and live up to the history. They sitting up here telling us, man, damn the history. We're the ones keeping track of what's happening with the coastline, what's happening with the beachfront, who's taking over the minerals and who's gathering up all the resources. We're the ones over here keeping track of that. Okay, but the folk from the lineage is like, man, I ain't left nothing. We're the ones telling them about what they left, and they sitting up here telling us, but I ain't lost nothing. Where's Zaddy? Where's Zaddy? Where Honey Boo Boo at? Hey man, I'm not worried about that right there. What happened back there? What happened back there, right there? What I need me is a honey boo boo. That's what I'm looking for. A honey boo boo. Anything less than a size 22, I can't have that right there. Don't nothing like a bone but a dog. A dog, the only thing like a bone, man. I ain't trying to do none of that there. I need a thick woman. That's what I'm looking for, a thick woman, man. You want a little scrawny, bro? I need a thick woman, bro. Man. No. We can have unity once everyone is on code. Everybody got to get on code. There's not going to be unity until everyone is on code, period. Until then, holding the hard line. Until then, we got to go hard line to get everybody on code. And this is going to be difficult for a lot of you. It's going to be painful for a lot of you. It's going to be uncomfortable. It will be. But then again, all change and development is. All change and development is. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. I want to thank everyone and everybody who's contributed to tonight's program. Thank you very much here, Mr. Richburg, Miss Handsome, Mr. Brown, Mr. Kamathi, Immigrant B1. And everyone else here who's contributed to tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend. Click that red subscribe button. Click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every time that we're here. If you haven't been to our website, Black Channel Films, you want to check out our groundbreaking best-selling documentary work, 7 a.m., 8 a.m., announcement coming here soon. You're going to dig this. Also, I think I may have something special for us here tomorrow. We discussed it earlier this week. I recommend all of you join us here. As I said, riders needed. I want to thank all of you for tuning in tonight's program live or recorded. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. Thank you for riding with us. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. Not the Bucci Bear. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, black is the future and the future is on code.